hours to really go for it. No one talking to myself. So, but I have some hours to go for it. Honestly, I can just get started. There's really no point to not get started now. Okay, got it. We're doing some streaks today. Let's see how far we can get. As the whole day is puzzles, I can just try it now. All right, made in one. All right, 64 to go, 63 to go, 62 to go, 61 to go. And this is how you want to start off. You want to get them all the easy ones right. All right, this is another easy one. I'd say the first 10 or so, pretty intuitive, pretty made in one. This is a made in three, but the idea is checkmate, pretty obvious. This is a double checkmate, the rook and the bishop. This is going to be checkmate. All right, that's the first 10. So now we have an actual question. Now this is kind of funny because it looks like, well, it's rook takes, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it looks like they have this after you take and then take that, but the knight's guarding. The puzzle design, I always love how intricate it is. Because the knight's not there, it actually doesn't work. But here, queen's going to take care on f2, and then go queen down. All right, I have the first 12. I don't have any water. But we have the first 12. And that, again, how you want to start this off. Now, man, do I not have... Uh-oh. Okay, but the bishop's there on d6. I would bet it's knight captures... Bro. Alright. I get his knight captures c6 because if the pawn takes, his bishop takes after. So that's what I think here. Take and then take. Alright, perfect. This is a puzzle that is a little more challenging. Like, it's already getting a little bit harder. Not a hard one, but the idea here is you want the queen to go in, check, and attacking the bishop there on d3. So that's the point of this one. And then take, and then take. Alright, we're at 14. This one... so it's a mating pattern, like a mating net. The idea here is the queen can capture with this lateral check. The king can only move forward legally, and the rook can, well, I'll just show it. You take this here. Now you may be wondering, okay, the queen can't slide, and the rook can slide here. And if the bishop moves, the queen is going to take it there. And this is a mate in two. Honestly, this is easier than the last puzzle. But yeah, you just take that, and the knight's guarding. Now this one, I'm pretty sure you just go b5, take, yeah. Because they are overwhelmed here on the queen side. And this is 2 squares ahead, so they're not going to be able to promote legally. What's going on, Lazy Chess? How you doing, bro? But yeah, rook down, check. Rook takes. Rook takes. Oh, yeah, even if they go up, you can still go bishop there at the end. That's an interesting puzzle. Yeah, you can still take this, and they can only move up diagonally, right? So you go bishop here to d5, and you're going to win the queen at the end there. All right, king slides forward, knight here to e4. Do you do puzzle rush at all? And we're going to get this fork. Oh, wait. A rook here. Almost messed that up. All right, got the first 19. This check. They go over. You could win the bishop at the end, but you're already down a piece. So I imagine it is checkmate. I'm somehow missing it, but this is probably the first move. Over here. I am missing this, though. Why is it not... Huh. Because if you go here, take here, up you just take the bishop here. But that's an equal endgame. So I'm a little confused on this one, actually. Which I should not be. I guess this is the first run. Alright, queen down, takes. Wait, queen down, takes, up. Is it really just take? Yeah, just take the bishop. I was so confused because this is not even winning, but usually it's more than that. Usually you're trying to get a distinctive advantage, but it's just equalizing there. This is a mate in 3, so the idea is the queen comes down. The king can't move anywhere on the diagonal already because of the bishop, right? So the queen just delivers the check. They can only block with the rook, or I guess rook here. Then you go bishop out here, and then you go down, and now you can move bishop here with this check. They slide over, and you're going to take the rook here on f1. All right, the first... Oh, I knew I forgot something. I was starting up the live, and I was like, I'm forgetting something. And I did forget something. Give me 1 second. I forgot to put this up. All right. So the queen's here on b7. I think queen down, king up, and then bishop here, checkmate. It's a diagonal setup. Like, you can do this whether it be laterally, like if the queen's here, bishop there, and then if the pawn wasn't there. But you'll see in a second, because you have the check. I'll show that, actually. This is a pretty common mating pattern you see in puzzles and in the game sometimes. I haven't seen this puzzle too often. I've seen other ones. But with here, the pattern is that you have two pieces like on the diagonal, right? That's the idea, is the king can't crisscross to any of them, which is the issue. This is, well, it's really the queen and the bishop, because the other bishop obviously would not work that way, as the king could go back. Alright, this next one here, we're at 22. So we're what, like a third of the way? Roughly, a little over a third of the way to the goal. This, you can sack the rook. So it's a knight here check, right? So you're attacking the king. They slide over, but you're going to sack the rook here as the knight's guarding both escape squares. I guess not really an escape square, but you know, it's guarding these squares. And then rook over here, they can block with the bishop. And then they can block with this. And that's going to be checkmate there. I appreciate the likes there, Lazy Chess, for closing in on 100 on TikTok. Here, which, do you want me to say Lazy Chess? Do you have a preferred name? But if we take, they slide over. Out. Oh, can you? No, it's probably this. And I don't really see the check back. Check. Lazy's fine. I got you. I got you. I mean, it must be this. I don't see how this is checkmate though. You can't sack. Why are you? I guess this is checkmate. So I guess you would have to sack. But if you sack, they could take. And then up, and then back. You need the bishop. That's why I'm a little confused by this. Am I missing? It has to be that. Yeah. I just don't see the mate, which is the problem. There's nothing. Okay, I see the check. And they go back. And then, but the rook can't slide in, which is the whole, like, that's the whole point of this, is the rook would need to slide in now. Is it just that in the puzzle ends? Yeah, okay, obviously I have no idea how to do the next part. But it is just that. Why is that winning, though? Take, back, king h1. Oh, you just go to an endgame. Oh, I'm like, there's no checkmate. I'm looking for mate to see. I'm like hyper-focused on checkmate. There's not checkmate. That's why. You just trade off to an endgame, a winning endgame. Oh, this next one, the rook's here on e5. The rook can... What's going on, Fair? How are you doing today, man? Nothing's going on. This is just the first day. No class, no stress. It feels good, man. It feels good. But yeah, I'm guessing this one's the rook. Probably just slides down. Right here. Oops. Here, check. Up. That's, well, this is probably the first move still. The mate, I don't. So you can't do this. Oh, it's here, and then I see it. And then you go here, and then queen here. So the idea, I'll show it real quick, is that if they were to go backwards, it's a checkmate. So here, check. If they go back here, it's mate in. Oh, it's mate in 1. I was gonna do this instead. I would not have got the puzzle right, but you can just go down here to g8, and that's checkmate. I got the first 25. This is where I want to be at. Their king slides here to c5. Pass all your finals. I haven't got the grade back yet. Luckily, I already passed the classes, so just about like how. So I don't care that much, honestly. Like, I care only in the sense that I put in so much work. I don't want to have the first part of the semester wasted. But because I'm a senior, I just don't want to take it again. So since they're already passed, most of the stress is gone. But you can take here, check, over. I mean, this would have to be it. I'm guessing there's a mate with the pawn there at the end. That I didn't see it all the way, but I had like a general idea. You see it? There has to be a mate. The queen's here. So there has to be a mate that involves the... Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yeah. It's pawn up, king here, up, over. So it has to involve the light squares. I didn't get that part out. But in my head, I'd said it. It's because here, it has... Because it can't involve the darks, anything on the dark squares. And then here, they have to go over, and then here. And then as a quick... I'm going to show this part. The reason it has to involve... Because you do this, right? They can just move their queen. Actually, that might be... Oh, yeah, they can go here. You go here. What if you go here? Oh, I guess here. Oh, no. Oh, that's a free... This is winning. Oh, yeah, because you have a passer. But yeah, that's the idea. You see they have that whole diagonal control. You have to move on the light squares to get a checkmate there. I did feel good about them fair. Well, no. That's a lie. I felt good about the second one. The first one, I looked at the exam, and I already knew what time it was, man. I don't get magnetics and physics. Makes no sense to me. Their queen is here, but the thermodynamics one, I felt pretty good about. Well, the queen is here on c6. Check, up. I mean, you can draw the game. I don't know. Is it more than that, though? But check, they move. check. I feel like it has to. I mean, that's the only thing I see. And that is right sometimes. Because if you move the rook, you can't even force. Like, if you could go here and then here, there'd be mate, right? But they can't even. Like, by the time you do this, they could. Yeah, this is just forcing a draw. Yeah. So by the time you move over, they could just take in the center and they could check you forever. And you couldn't do anything about it. This one is one that has to be a checkmate. Oh, yeah, it's mate in one. Say, because if you don't checkmate, there's no possible way to get through that. You have any final spares? Yeah. If you take here on e6, that's just mate in one. Now, this is the 30th puzzle. That's just checkmate. Okay, we got the first 30. This is where you want to be at. 30 for 30. We can't get anything wrong in this first batch. Honestly, if I do, I just restart. Because appreciate those likes there from Lazy. Again, Lazy. Much appreciated, bro. We're at almost at 400. But I have to get all these right. Because it gets very difficult. I'd say 50 plus, quite difficult. 30 to like 50, they're all findable. Like, some of the stuff after 50 is not really findable. From what I've experienced. Or at least for me, it's not findable for me. But at this level, like, I can get all these. I just have to really lock in. I can't have any missteps here. So can we solve this one? I think it's a weird mate pattern. Like, they're not, this isn't like super easy, but it should be findable. Check, take, and then I think it's check. Because you're corralling the king. It has to be simpler than that, though. If you go up, the problem is if you just give the check and they take and you check, they can block because they have the knight. Right, which is the... Okay, this one, I said that, all that. And this one, actually, I might get this one wrong. Okay, so the queen can't go in. I'm going to go through every move. The queen can't go here, right? That's an obvious no. Here, that could be it. I think after that, there's just no way to, like, win the game that I can see. Because if you give this check, they can bring their rook down. Oh, and then you could go queen h7. Yeah, and the rook is here. In my head, the rook was here for some reason, but no, you can do this. Yeah. And then here, and then they move, and then down. When I was visualizing it, the rook was here, so the queen... I don't know how the queen and the rook were both there, so that was just dumb. But yeah, it's here, and then... Oh. So you can't go back. So then is it up and then down and then checkmate then? Oops. Check on g6, king goes down, and then rook over. Yes. Okay. And I'll show the other mate real quick, what you could have done instead. Let's see. You're a freshman in high school? But check. Oh, yeah. And then if they block this way, it's queen here, checkmate. Which is somehow... I saw the mate net, but the rook was there in my mind. I don't know how that happened, because they both could not be there, obviously. But yeah, the first... Was that 31, I think? Yes. Alright. This is another one there. The assumption is there's a checkmate that's pretty obvious, given you're down a rook and a bishop. So there has to be checkmate. Queen slides over. This is the only legal move. Queen up. But there's no mate there, which is the problem. I think it's queen h4, because this is still the only legal move, but then you can slide over. Actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's this. Because now you can slide over here to e4, check, and then if they can... Oh, yeah, this is forced. It's not even winning. They can only move the queen over at the end there. This is one you just have to look. Because you would think, like, your first instinct, if you're doing it fast, is to go down or something. But you can just take the rook, and that's checkmate, I think. Let me double check. Yeah, that's just me. Mate in 1 on 33 is a little confusing, but I'll take it. This should be a mate in 3, so the queen can slide over. If they go here, this is mate in... Is that mate in 2? I guess that's mate in 2 if you do it this way. But here, check. They move, check. And then if they go up or down, this would be checkmate. I love the puzzle design where it's this obscure place piece that stops the king from moving. So queen here, here, and then yeah. You see the knight's guarding the escape squares. You usually have to deliver another check. And that's the first 34 there. Are the queens going to move here to g4? I guess. So if you go here... Oh, yeah. Because if you go here and they don't take, then you could go... So, like, if you do this, oops, this, and then this, then the queen could go down. And that's actually checkmate. So that's why I have to take the rook. And now because I have to take... I'll put that on the board, too. You have the fork here at the end. But I'll show the other position real quick. Oh, this is not it. My bad. The other position here. Okay. So if they instead don't take the rook after rook slides. King here, this is mate in 1. Queen, because you have control of the diagonal and they can't slide over. Again, the obscurely placed piece is the reason it works. Because I guess it's not obscure. But like, how would that happen? I'm not sure. But that is the puzzle there. So we're at 35. The goal is to get to 65 today. Man, freshman year, I feel old, man, he's saying that. That was like 8 years ago for me. But yeah, their pawns here on b6. Then you can just take the rook. This is another easy... Yeah. Am I wrong? Yeah, you just take this. And it's mate there at the end. That feels kind of easier for the... I guess it's 36, so it's not supposed to be too hard yet. Alright, their rook's here in the center. And you know it's not to take it, because they have 2 defenders, you have 1 attacker. You would need to amass 3 attackers. So you know it has to be something to do with checkmate. Now where exactly is the question? So you have 3 checks. So let's go through each one of them. This check, I think, probably doesn't make that much sense. I feel like it would have to be the queen. Oh, wait. I have the makings of it I can see. Once you go over, the king has to go back. That's a forced check. Right, because the whatever piece is left, they can't take. So you know that's a forced check there at the end. On h5. I just don't see, after they move their king back, how you could even do anything with it. If I had to make a move now, though, I would go queen h3. Because rook over feels like the rook can do less than the queen could do. Because the queen could get to h6 theoretically and check. But also, I don't think there's mate here. Oh, no, there is mate. Oh, my God, there is mate. There is mate. You can sack the queen. Take here, back. Yes, again, the knight. Because they could block with the queen if the king could come up. But I think this is it. Yeah. And then here, like, I don't see anything else. And that's checkmate. Or it will be mate here. Alright, we got that one. We're at 37. We can go bishop here to g4. My only problem with bishop g4 is that if you go here and then go up, and then you take, try title. Yeah, man, I think National Master, I've played a lot of, I guess a lot. I played 3 Masters. No, 4 Masters. It's not like impossible. Like, I'm sure a Grand Master probably feels impossible. Like, I don't feel like overmatched. I'm sure you could get National Master. But yeah, and this one here, this is the first idea. It's just after this, I don't see how you would do it. Oh, I get it. You would take and then queen here. Okay, that makes sense. And now this is the part where you have to, because you can't move queen first. This is why this is 38, because it's not that easy. But the idea is not that hard, but the move order is important. If you go queen first, they could just take. And you actually I think you're losing if you do it that way. I'm pretty sure. But if you take this first, and then the queen moves, here is winning. They can't get a defender, and then if they were to take, then you just take there. So yeah, take, and then queen here. And now you can, I guess you're supposed to let this happen. So take, they'd have to take, you take here. Oh, you beat up a minor piece at the end, even after all that. Because once they take the rook, you can move king d7, and then after that, they take the rook, you take their rook. But because it's a light square bishop, and they had a pawn on f2, like the king can't, I guess the king, I want to see that for a second actually. Can the king not go up? Wait, here. If you go, I want to see that. If you go, okay, take, king d7. If they take, can they not go here? Oh, I guess then you could go here. Oh, d5. I feel like they could. And then here, bishop g, oh, you can get out this way. And then once they go up, then you have like h5. Yeah, okay. There's a way to get the bishop out. It's not as simple as I first thought. Like, the king can just go up to e2, so you can just go back to f3, but there is a way to do it. Now for this puzzle, let's see what we have going on here. So we have the queen. We're down a piece. So the down a piece puzzles, usually there's a mate. Because if you just win, say you win the bishop or the knight, like there's really no way that you could you wouldn't equalize. That's not the point of the puzzle. In an actual game, maybe that's the point, but in a puzzle, it's not just to equalize the position. Unless that draw one earlier that we had. So we have the bishop here, rook here. I'm guessing there's some type of mate. Alright, so take. Ah, yeah, there is. So this is a forced mate. The problem is after you capture, if the bishop takes, the rook can go down. And then obviously if you take, again, they can only block. So they'd go here, then you just take the queen. I think that's it. Yeah. And then rook here to e1. Alright, next, can we get to 40 here? There's a way to go up. So knight here, king back, check, up. Oh, then there's checkmate. Yeah, you're not supposed to win the queen. That's a pretty cool one. So they go back, attack. It looks like you're trying to win that, but you're not trying to win it, right? You're trying to mate, which is why it happens this way. But I'll show that, the other mate. The reason they did it that way. Looks like you're trying to get some type of fork, which is kind of cool. Because the knight's there, so you can't do that one, right? It doesn't work. Back, so you push. But it's, let's say here. It's not to do this, right? You're actually losing. The idea is if they move their king forward, it's queen captures c4. And that diagonal attack, that's just over completely. Absolutely fair, absolutely. I wish you luck with it. What's your USCF right now? And their pawn has pushed forward in this one. We got the first 40. Now, for the next 25. The next 25. Okay, so let's look at our pieces. They have a... What is this? They have a pawn that doesn't look that defended. My issue with taking the pawn, though, is they could go knight f2. So it's not forcing enough in my mind. The bishop also... Can it sack it? Can you go knight captures? Knight x h2. I get why, if they took, you could just go over. But no, then they could go there, and then you take and then take. And that's fine. So no, that's not it. But ex f3 I don't think is it either. Because of knight f2. They can just blockade. Taking the knight, the rook just takes. So I think you have to sack. I just don't see why you would, like how that's winning. I think you have to take on h2 though. Because if you take the pawn, there's really nothing. Like if you sacrifice, you could see how there could be something. Like I don't know if that's a good reason. But if you take, okay. So let's say that they don't take back. Then you could get that. And then that is pretty bad, right? So if you take, you know they would take. Alright, and we're equal material right now, so we're down at that point. Take, check. Now, rook over is my concern with that. Right, if the rook slides over, and you take, and you've given up this knight and this bishop for that rook there, and their knight's on f2, which is the whole thing I'm complaining about. Their knight's on f2, I don't see how you're attacking. So that's probably where my mistake is that you can attack there. Because in the only two moves I'm seeing, the knight's there. No other move is even remotely close in my mind. So I'm guessing you can allow the knight there, and there's something after. So take here, take back. No, they can't go back because you would just take the rook. So then, so take here, check, rook over. Could you move your queen over to h6? I guess that's also kind of a lot though. If you were to do all that, and then here, and then to set up to that, because they can move their queen up too. I'm gonna have to go with my instinct on this, because I don't see how this could work at all. And this is just free too. I guess no, that wouldn't be free. You could push up. So here, knight back. Because if they were to take, after you take, you push up and you win the rook. So this one is also kind of forcing. They have to go up, I would bet. But after that, like, okay, say you take and king takes. If bishop takes, yeah, I'm going to go for... No, this is not it. What is it? What is it? Is it just taking the pawn? It is. Wait, why do they have to do that? That's what I don't get. Can they not go knight f2? Bishop e2. Queen c2. And then queen... Okay, that's... You just need to get the bishop locked in. So you're not winning anything on the spot. I wonder what's wrong here with what I did. I think it's what I said was wrong. This is also winning though. Okay, that's frustrating. This is also a win. It's plus Or it's minus 1.4. 1100 after 2. Okay, so you still got the P by your rating then, right? And what are all your online ratings again? But man, that is crazy. You have to find that. What's going on, me board? How are you doing today? What's going on, Aaron? Queen takes. Oh, my bad. I need to make sure I read the chat more. My bad. 1200 again. Was this an increase or a decrease? Oh, this is a free knight too. And if you go down here, you're gonna get checkmate. I'm doing all right today. I can't complain. Actually, I wouldn't complain if I could. It feels good to not have anything really strenuous to do. Here, I don't get how this is fine though. Yeah, because they go over. This is checkmate. Oh, queen back here, guarding the. I see. Queen f5, f4. All right, then bishop's in here on f5. This is hanging. So if you go rook down check, the king takes. Oh, I would say that I don't see how you can sacrifice. You can give a diagonal check. Ah, yeah. Because if you move the queen, they could push up, and then you can't win anything. When you go with the bishop instead, now. So I think this is. Well, let's see if I'm right first. Yeah. The problem was. Yeah. Okay, let's show that. If you move the queen instead, it does not work. What's going on, Eliza? Because if you go here, then they could just go d4, right? And then you're just not doing that. Oh, d4, and you're losing. Because you can't take that, right? But this, now it does work. And we don't see why it doesn't work otherwise. If they don't push d4, and they go here, like you take, and then here, and then I think you just take, and then here, and then rook down. And there's just a win because you have the h-file. The reason I was thinking about sacking, because there are a lot of puzzles you have to sacrifice. So they tried to confuse me there. This should be another simpler one. I believe just rook down. I don't see how else. Yeah, I think just rook down here, and then pawn up. Yes. And this is a mate idea. And then checkmate here. Alright, next. This is another. Oh. Okay. So this is another mate idea. Because check, over, check, double check. They have to take. Queen here doesn't actually work because of that. This is still the idea, I'm sure. Because they have a pawn on a2. So there's definitely a checkmate. Oh, it's because you take on h7 this time. Yeah, they're trying to dissuade people from memorizing a puzzle. Because this is a pretty common puzzle. If you take over here, and then like a rook or a queen would slide, and that's checkmate after they block. But the difference is they're guarding the spot the queen would go to. So now if you take over, you can't sack there. You sack here, which functions the same way for this Oh, I'll just do it. It functions the same way, I'm pretty sure, in this example. Yeah, because you go queen here, check. Now this is checkmate. But I'll show what usually happens in this puzzle here. You check, and then you'd go down. And because the bishop usually, let's say, okay, actually, let's move the bishop for a second. Here, and then here. Take, over, double check, here, block. So this is usually how the puzzle goes. But you saw the bishop there, it was making it more difficult. All right, next up, we're at 44 out of 45. This is, it should be a mate. And so this is free, obviously. This is free. If they move bishop here, I think you go bishop here first then. Yeah, I think you'd have to go here first. Because if you took first, then you wouldn't be able to. The king would be guarding the pawn in that line. And now if they push c6, you couldn't take. But now you can take check again. And now this is checkmate. I'll show the difference real quick. The difference here. What's going on, Soko? I'm doing all right today, man. How you doing today? Actually, I'm having a good day today. But if you take here, and the king moves now if you do this, they can go c6, right? Which, they can also go king c8. But this is the most obvious, like, visual difference, is they could block, and the king's guarding it, right? I know this next one here. What's going on, Southern Chessbeer? How you doing today? And then keep it flag 3+0. Yeah, 3-0, I'm not a fan either. Give me 5-0, or give me, 1+0. I don't like the mid ground. 15-10 is crazy, though. I have to do 10-0 for rapid. But how you doing today, Soko? But yeah, we can slide over. I imagine the problem is if they take. I just don't get. I think this is it. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't get how. Because okay. Oh, I get it. I'm gonna say if you just push and take, that's a draw. But you can take check right in there, force, yeah, and now you get the queen. I'll show you why I was confused for a second though, because I was looking at if you push, I'm like, this is just a draw, which is why I didn't play. I'm like, this doesn't work, because you would take it in here, and then they could just get out the way. But I missed that for a second. Take, and then you get the queen, and now this is a winning endgame. Although not an easy one. I learned how to do it this summer and I forgot. A queen versus rook is not that fun to do. I gotta be honest. It takes some time. And then I'm doing alright, Southern. 15, I feel like I can think. In fact, I'm thinking for 20. 10 plus 0, almost too long for me, bruh. I did 15-10 when I played Cole in the tournament. Oh, and I want to play Grizz. I get in my tournament mode, and I'm like, I'm losing on time more in those time controls. Because I'm like, okay, I'm biting this as a tournament, and I'm playing it like a tournament. This, it must win the bishop at the end of this puzzle. I'm sure. So if you give a check, oh, I think I see it. Because if you go king e4, yeah, you can't check first because the king slides in. This is an interesting and unique puzzle because if you go up, you would think the bishop can escape, but it actually can't. So you can wait a turn to then check down and yeah. Well, usually you couldn't do that, right? Usually if you move out the way, the bishop saves itself. But it can't this time. As you see, the king has no forward progression, right? So when you give this check here, they go back and then check here. And you take, and if they push, you go rook to a1. That was a fun one. Alright, here, what are we down? Oh no, they just took a knight, I'm guessing. Yeah, they just took a knight. Really? I don't know. Am I getting I think, I'm pretty sure it's just that, but at 48, I would assume it's more difficult, so I'm just going to take a second. But I feel like you just take, because it's, yeah, I think you just take. Yeah, okay, you take here. Now what you take back with, I'm sure is what matters. I think it's the queen, though, because if you take with this, they have this check. Is it? No way. Yeah, and then you just go up here to c3. All right, that is pretty easy. That's pretty easy. All right, this next one. I think what you have to do. So if you move over for opposition, I don't think that works because the rook can slide down here on a8, right? Check here. We run into the issue of king over, and then check. Wait. Okay, check. They can't go over. I think it is knight here. Like I can kind of see it here. They can't go over. There's checkmate. So knight here, king over, rook down, king up. I guess if the king goes up, how would you checkmate? So wait, no, check over. Oh no, not rook down. Check here, yeah. I think so. So here, over, here. If they go up, you double check, king up, checkmate. So that's one way you get mate. So check, over, check. And if they go back, you check here, and that's also mate. I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah. And then here, because they slide up, yes. I'm almost certain it's this. Yeah. And they move. Now for the double check that I was mentioning. Oh, yeah, it's force mate. That's why, yeah, it's just force mate. I wasn't seeing the force part of it, but because it's double check, they have to go back. And then, wait, hold on. If you check, they go back. Check over. Check over. Oh, then check over checkmate. That's like mate in 7 though. That's okay. This is kind of difficult. That's like mate in 7, but it's here. Yeah, I think it is still here. And they do it mate in 1. Did I see that wrong? This is maybe it's not mate in 7. I want to see that though. That's mate. I want to go through the puzzle there because I saw something completely different. What if they? There's a mate in 1 everywhere. If they go back here, how is it mate in 1? Oh, it's the same thing. Oh, so what I was seeing was that they can go back there, and like you'd go. I don't know how I missed that, but I thought like here, I did not see the mate here. I saw check. Mine also would have won the game, but it wouldn't have done it as quick. They go over, check, over, and then checkmate here, which is functioning the same way because you're cutting off that, but that would have. Or actually, I can just show that. Let's see if I was right. Because I'm gonna. This is wrong, obviously. Like you have mate in one. This is still, I think, force mate. Yeah, and then here, this is what I saw. I didn't see rook b8, but I calculated that part. I'll do this next one. But again, incorrect. But we're at 50. No, we're at 49. One more to 50 here. 5 plus 2. Whoa, yeah. I have to do that for the Collegiate Chess League. Not fun. This should be mate in 4. So the rook sacks on h2, king takes, queen h4, queen h3, queen f2. But after king h1, I don't know if that's mate. But no, you definitely have to sacrifice first, because there's no other way to do that. So you'd sack, king takes, queen. Oh, my bad. If you sack, king takes, queen takes. Let me check the puzzle. Any puzzle yet? No. They're not going to end the stream randomly. But take, king captures, queen check, queen back. Now after queen f2, I miss what to do after king back to h1, because you can't. I'm pretty sure you have to sack though. No, maybe. No, I was gonna say here, but then they could promote queen, you take, and then they have check, and then up. And then there's infinite checks. So no, you have to check them. So you have to sacrifice, yeah. That part is honestly the easiest part. The mate I'm not seeing at all. Because once the queen is on h3, I don't get how it's not perfectly defended. And then if you don't check on h4, like if you check on, I don't know, like d2, then they could just... Oh no, you can do that. Wow, that is funny. The reason it works is because of queen h6 at the end. So what I was missing was check. I was like, can they not just go up or back? But they can't. They can't do that because you'd go here, and then they can't go up because that's checkmate. It's pinned, but it's still a rook, right? So check. If they go anywhere they go, queen h6 now would be winning. And if they went this way, then the queen, yeah, okay. So what I was looking at was correct, because I was wrong initially on my my assumption, which was queen here. And I was like, I don't see checkmate, because there's not a checkmate if you go here, which is why I don't see checkmate. They can just move their queen back. And I'm like, after this and king h1, this is exactly what I was saying to them. After king h1, I didn't see anything. So that's kind of how I assumed I was wrong, because I didn't see any way to mate that way. Alright, so this next one, we're at 50. The goal, I mean, my record is 62. The goal is 65, though. Ah, okay. This is a avoid checkmate puzzle. So I'm guessing it's just knight g8 then. Because if you go king g7, or... I mean, if you go king g7, you could avoid checkmate. I don't know. I guess you're not trying to draw the game, though. Because you're up, what, 2 pieces? So maybe you just sacrifice one, check, and then up. Yeah, because you could go here. Like, if you're trying to draw the game, you could go there, and then up, and then back. I would assume that's not the purpose of the puzzle. I would assume it's to go here. This would be a very dumb puzzle. If it's that, I can live with that being wrong. Why would it be to repeat your winning? So knight g8, rook takes, king up, and they have no more checks. Yeah, this is correct. This is the only legal move, so you know you have to go king here to e7, and if they take, the knight takes here. Alright, we're at 51 here. What's going on, Ryan? How you doing, bro? How are you doing? But yeah, the kings, we're doing some puzzles. My new record is 62. We're trying to, what are we trying to do? Trying to get to 62. Trying to get to the record. But the king's over. Queen h3, I feel, is not the answer. Because the king could just slide back over. Rook captures on d... Oh, it's just rook captures d4. Really? That's also kind of easy. If that's actually the move. Oh, no. Rook down. Okay, let's say this is... Oh, no, you can't. I'm like, you could go here. No, I'll take that back. You can't for 2 reasons. One, they could just check. But also, even if they couldn't, I'm missing that you can't move your rook over. Oh, is it just king down then? Oh, no. No way. Is it just king... It's just king g1. Right? Because if they check, you would take, and they can't stop rook over, and if they push the pawn forward, then I feel like you just take, and it's the same. That's inevitable still. You just have to give a spot. And the reason that king h1 doesn't work, why would it not work? I see they have the check, but after, oh, you'd have to go up to the second rank, and now they have time to defend themselves maybe? Right, because if the king's here, the rook can't get there, which is the difference. So now if you go here, they could still sack maybe, but then you would just take and then check. And then you go back over, honestly, and they still can't even stop the mate. Yeah. Well, I hope this is right, because I said all that, but I think it's just king g1. Yes, it is. Now, if you move your rook over, I guess that wouldn't work. Taking also, this doesn't feel right if you take the rook. But it might be the best move, because then you still have that check. I'm pretty sure you just take the rook, because here the rook slides. Yeah, you just can't allow that. Alright, so the next one, I'll show that real quick though. That was a pretty fun puzzle. So it's king, no. Yes, so you go down. This is what I played. The reason nothing else works, if you can't take, because the rook can, or it says queen e8. Or no, rook c2 is what they could play. This is what I saw, is why I didn't like that. Appreciate that, Hunter, appreciate that. But yeah, the rook comes down, which is the issue if you do this, which is my first thought. And or actually, this is not a good. This is not good at all. There's nothing you can do after that. And then I guess the only thing you can really consider, king h1. Oh, why this doesn't work? It's because of rook check. Oops, not that. That would be winning. The check here. If the king moves, right, they can now. Yeah, they have a move because the rook can't slide over. As the whole point of going king g1 is to open up the h file, which is not open when they go rook f1 check. So that was a fun one. We're at 52, I believe, right? Yes. Make sure there's no puzzle. No puzzle. And appreciate all the likes we've got. We hit 1,000. All right, we have the white pieces. I will say, if I have a weakness in puzzle solving, it's this. I'm decent in an actual game. I mean, king e7 is where my eyes dart to. Or, actually, no, that's not true. Well, that's true. But I think it's king e7 or king g6. Because if you go king g6, I don't know how they'd stop it, honestly. Oh, no, you definitely can't go king e7. Yeah, no, that's wrong. If you go king e7, they could then go knight. You can't let knight g7 happen, which is the issue, right? So if you go here, which is my first thought, which is the wrong thought. They go here. This is a fork, right? Maybe you could get out the way of the fork. You could go back. But after knight gets here to h5, you can't really push. I think you have to go here. And like whatever they do, you just go up here. I think this lets the knight in the game too much. I don't see it exactly. Like if the knight moves, you go back, check, here, check, up. I guess that's also one of these is not a win though. I don't see how they're both. I'm not seeing how they're both not winning. But one of them doesn't win the game. I know it's not king f7 though. That much. I would also guess here. Because if you go here, check. Here. If they go back, check. Over. I'm going to go here. Yeah. I can see the repetition or something happening. It's a little difficult to show. But like I can feel that's the wrong move. I'll look at the engine after. But it just doesn't feel right. The exact combination I feel like would have been a win. But because I couldn't see it all the way. But I can see this a little clear. The knight's here on c7. If you go up, knight back, I get it. So knight back and then up, and then knight down, and then, no, you still couldn't go there. You'd go up and then up at the end, because if you went here, then the knight would move there. Yeah, so I think you just push here. Yes. And again, I guess you would just push. Yeah. So this is what I'm worried about, is if you go up, there's this check, right? So why does that not work? Okay, so if you go h7, knight f8, that's what I was saying with king f7, they could take the pawn. So you still have to be careful. This was the thing that it probably looked kind of crazy when I was showing it. But I was talking about the knight going there after you push. So like, I don't think that works. But I don't know how else he would do it. If you go up, knight down. If you go in, I was saying you just sit on g8. Like if you go here, here, or here, 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 take. I'm wondering, can you push the pawn forward after the knight's there? And if the knight goes there, then you go king here. And the knight actually can't stop it still. I feel like that's not it, though. But that could be it. Because right now, nothing else works, which is the issue. Because if you just go king f6, I think that is it. Although that's a little much if that's it for 53. Or 54, I guess. But yeah, h7, knight down, king g7, or h7, knight down, king g7. Oh, they have that attack. You'd go down. So that they can't go back then. So push here, here. Takes here. Knight back. King over. So now they can't go there. I think that is it. So they don't even do that. Yes, I want to see what... I don't even have to calculate all that. That's not what happens. But I think that's why you could do it. Right, you get the queen. I want to show that, though. Because I think at the end, they would beat up the knight still. But they wouldn't be able to get there in time. So if they go back, right? Let's see if I'm right. You can go... Oh, what? You can go f7? Oh, you can't do this. I would have been wrong. Yeah, you can't do this here. This is a draw. Really? How is this a draw? If you go here... Oh, they have this check. Ah, I get it. I get it. Well, king f7 I didn't see working. Here takes... Oh, it's the idea, but backwards. Or it makes more sense this way. Over. I know you couldn't stop them from keeping the knight. But you can just run it then. Alright, cool. We're at 53. Let's see if we can get to 54 on this next puzzle here. Hoping we can. Their queen's here on b5. Okay. So we see the light squares are a little weak around the king. If we give this check on d1, the king would... Alright, they could just block. So no, that's not it. And the knight can't take because of the pen. So this is... I don't like this move because it's not actually forcing. Right? If you go here, they have two responses. And generally, that's not a good thing for puzzles. So queen up to f3 is where my eyes are going. Because there is a checkmate idea. Okay, you go up. But that's not free. You're threatening this. So if they go rook down. So here, they can't check you. So that's the one good thing about it. They can't check you. If they go over, it doesn't make sense. Really. So here, down. If you then go rook down, what would they... They can move queen over. So that's also not that forcing. If you go here and they go down... Oh, no, they can't go down. There's checkmate. Oh, yeah, it is just here. They can't move rook down. There's mate, which is the issue. So here, you're threatening rook down here. So they can only... Really? They can only... Yeah, this is it, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they can't... There's nothing they can do. I'll show that real quick why it works. They can't do anything, right? So if you... It's kind of even hard to... If they go here, there's checkmate, right? And then if they go here, this just loses still, right? You could... Honestly, I was not going to do this. This is the best move. I was going to go with this, which is still winning. But this is even better than what I saw. You go here, makes more sense. A one-move tactic on 53 or whatever that was. 54. A little confusing, but fun, but fun. But yeah, rook's here on c4. What was your guess, Ducky? But yeah, check if they slide. I don't get how that's winning. You take the king goes to h1. I guess they can't check you. Yeah, they can't check you. You have to sack on g2 with the rook. Okay, I was to say there's not a checkmate unless you make another move, which is why I was worried. But they can't check you again. No, yes they can. They definitely. Well, hold on. They definitely can. Take over. If you sack this, they could check. King down. Rook captures. Bishop captures. Queen captures. Queen up. Check. Down. Check. Up. Huh. Oh, then they go back then. Well, this has to be... No, this is not the first move. That's not the first move. I'm confused. I guess the rook could take. But that doesn't feel... No, then the queen falls. So you have to take on f2. It's the follow-up I'm not seeing. You take on f2, the king slides over. The queen takes, bishop takes. No, you can't do that. That has to be the first move. Unless I'm underthinking it maybe. Capture, over. The dark square bishop is too locked up to get involved. So we know that the bishop can't help, right? That is kind of a tell that it has to be the rook instead of the queen, because the bishop can't move and it can't even get activated, because it's 3 moves away really from the bishop being able to have scope. Take, king moves. You can't sack this. You could go rook down. Is it just winning material? No, but you're down already. Okay, I'm just gonna go here. No, that's not it. That's not it. What is it? What is that one? It is instead. Oh, my idea, but first. I see. Now it does work. Cause over, you could sack the rook. Yeah, I see now. I had the right idea, just in the complete wrong order. So it doesn't matter that it was the right idea. We have 2 incorrect. We're at 54. The odds that I get to 63 now have dwindled, but we're gonna try still. The queen's there on h5. Okay, what can we do? 94. No. They have checkmate, which is an issue with queen to f3. That's mate. So is it just rook f1? Like, there's no way it's rook f1. Rook f1. I guess it would. Like, anything else is checkmate. Queen d1 runs into knight f2. So you're watching. I try not to read what people say for the puzzle until after. So even if you were right, I'm just trying to. I want you guys to participate, but like in trying to get it correct, I try and do it first, and then I'll see what you guys said afterwards. Yeah, the queen's here on h5. Queen d1, the knight to f2. That doesn't work. So I think you have to go here, but that knight slides in. Take here. Well, I'm gonna have to make a move. It is that. So they do move their knight in. Take, bishop takes. What I don't get is how you stop queen f3. I'm missing that part of it. If you take on f2, bishop captures. And then queen d1. I guess that would stop it. Queen d1. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, here. And then here. Now they can't go there. King up. I'm tempted to go king up too. I imagine that's not the move though. Probably not. But why is it not the move? That I don't know why you can't play that. Well, you can't play either king g2 or queen d1. And they both seem playable to me. So I'm confused. I guess queen d1 is the problem. What is the problem? Queen d1. I'm guessing it's king g2, because I don't see any issue with king g2. There's no way that's an issue. But no, but then oh no, that might be an issue, because they go bishop back. One of these does not work. Alright, my gut is this. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Yeah. Why does king g2 not work? Maybe because if you go king g2, they can go bishop h4. Queen g4 check. Is it a... Oh, it's repetition. And then check, and then over. And then check. And then down, and then check. Yeah, that's what it is. Alright, go to this next one. We're at 55. 55 or 57. Not a bad spot, but not the best spot. And then Trey, appreciate the follow there. And Quinn, appreciate the follow. Alright, we're waiting for this next one. Not waiting. We're in this... What just happened? I don't know what just happened. Sorry. Something happened on this other screen. But the queen's here on a7. Alright, what do we have to do? What I see immediately is you have this tactic of winning the rook, right? But again, that's a little... not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to do that exactly. We want to trade... You could trade, but we're down, right? So we don't want to trade. Taking... Queen here. I guess that's... The problem with queen there is they could go queen down. Right. So then they're guarding the checkmate. I think it is this, though. Okay, you go here, they go queen. Somewhere... They'd have to go here, because they went down, you could then push. And the rook's guarding, so that would be a win. So queen down, threatening mate. Queen b7, guarding mate. Why doesn't that work, though? Because it doesn't work, is my assumption. Take, take, take. No. Down, over. If you check, king moves. The issue is that there's no way to move the rook in a way that allows queen c2 that does not lose the rook, which would be the whole point of making that. But queen d2 does threaten that checkmate idea, and it forces queen b7. And because it's a forced move, I feel like that's the move. The problem is after queen b7, I don't see a continuation. And like queen, let's say d4 or e3, you have those checks, but like you can't mate them. They could just go king h1. The rook is undefended at that point. But again, that doesn't feel like that's enough. But I don't see anything else, so I'm going to have to play something. Rook to c1 doesn't work, because rook takes, queen takes, king slides up. Yeah, you can't even get a repetition. They go king h1, queen back down, they go qg1. And you can't repeat, and you're down that pawn. So queen d2, queen b7. You can't push c6. I wonder, could you then just go king h6 and then go? But then they could go queen e4. So this is the move. And they move their queen over. You could check. I think this is it. I don't see anything else. No, that's not it. What is it? We got that one incorrect. Will you win the queen? It is? Oh, it's queen down first. Wow. I have the right square, but the wrong way to do that. Queen c6. That's gorgeous. Because the queen c6, it's what I was saying with no queen b7 because... Oh, let's go to the analysis bar. Because here, I think you can take her... No, you can't take. You can only go check. Really? Oh, here, and then check, and then up, and then check, and then here, and then take, and then take, and then here. Ah, I had the right square in mind, the mate idea. But queen c6 is a much better way to do that. Actually, it's the only way that works to do that. Alright, so we got that. We stopped at 55. Not a bad run for the first run of the day. I'm content with that. But honestly, still not the goal. We can be content, but 63 is the first goal and 65 is like the second goal. I want to keep improving increments of 5. So we hit 60 now to 65, but 63 will be a new record. So the first one we have correct. This is a mate into idea. Taking down here with that lateral check. Capture, capture. We have the first 3 here. Queen slides over. Queen down for checkmate. Perfect. Mate, we have the rooks working together. Checkmate because the rook's here guarding the queen. Mate again. Mate again. Yeah, the first couple are usually kind of boring. The bishop's here on f5. Here, because they can't go back to guard it. So this would be a free piece. And then take, and then take. You're up a knight there. This is checkmate. We have the first 10. This is checkmate because the bishop's guarding the king. Mate because of the opposition. And you capture this rook here. Okay. I would say this one I don't see. You give a check first and then queen down. And then you take the queen. In this one, we see that the king is almost completely limited as they can't go forward. And they can't go backwards. They can only move here. Now, what can both give a check and guard there? I kind of gave it away. It's knight here. Because you're checking and guarding that. The king slides back. Queen check. If they... Oh, yeah, then you just take the bishop. Okay. Or... Does it matter? If you take... Oh, yeah, if you take and then queen here, they go back. Yeah, so you have to do this first. And then take. And now you take back. Because if you did the... I'll show that real quick. If you do it the other way, it doesn't work, right? Here... Wait, no. Here... Because the knight's a flexible piece. You give this check, they can go knight f2. And that's why move order is so important for that one. Alright, this next one, we have the first 15. 50 more to go. Queen down here to b2 checkmate in 2. And make sure there's no puzzle, no puzzle. Alright, their king slides forward. Queen slides in, check. They move, take, check. What's going on, Jazzy? Appreciate those likes there. Closing in on 1.2 thousand of the next go. But queen b5, they slide, check. They move, take. I mean, this has to be, this has to be it. Okay. I don't fully see the mate. But this setup feels like it has to. Oh, I do see it now. And then, yeah, the king moves. You just walk with the king, essentially. This mate I do see. This is mate in 3. Check, queen up, and then queen down. Alright, the queen's going to slide over. Where can we go? This here. Okay, so the general idea is this is weak after the knight's gone. So once you capture, bishop takes. It's equal. Knight captures. We're up. We're attacking the queen. They can move down. I don't get how you win. Like, I don't get how you win this at the end. Capture, I think you have to take. I don't get it. I don't get it. If you take this, the queen just goes down. You would take this. And then they could just take. And then if you gave a check here, queen up. I mean, this has to be it. I don't get why this works, though. Then they slide in. I still don't get how this works. You take this check, they take. You're not winning. Like, I don't understand. You're not winning. It must be a winning idea that I'm dismissing, though. Capture, check, they take. I don't know. I don't know. Why does that work? I haven't seen that one. The pair that just completely won, and I don't get it. Why is this a win? Take. I see the. Oh, it's b6. Queen e3. Queen. Okay, this is not even that obvious. Like, the only reason I knew this was good is because the pawn structure is so bad. But there's no checkmate. It's just a good position. That's a good thing, though, that they make puzzles where it's not all mate, so you don't know what it is. So I respect it and its concept, but it's frustrating because I'm looking for something completely different than a winning position. But queen here to h1, that should be mate in 1, as they can't move there, they can't go up, they can't go back. So this is just a mate in 1 idea. We have the first 20, 45 to go, mate in 1 again. So we have the first 21. This is just winning a knight. But again, it should be this easy around this level. Alright. Check over. Check up, down. Yeah, this is forced. Right? Because if you did this, they could sack. And I don't think you could stop them. But you give another check, and now the bishop can't get in time, right? So you go up, they give a check. You go down, their king's just in the way. They're not working together. And you just go down, and they're too slow. And you get the queen there on that move. This should be a mate in 1 idea, with rook here to h1. Yes, that is checkmate. The queen's going to slide over. Another endgame where you should win. The pawn's just too quick. How big do you draw the box? Is it how many squares you're away? So let's say if you drew this box, they're not in that box. So up, over, up, over, up, over, up. It must be proportionate to that. So here, so if you're up here, is it then that box again? Oh, well, it's this. I need to learn the box. Because I know that's how you do that and you calculate it. And I just do it off of Phil. Like, there's definitely a better way to do it than I do it. But yeah, I think knight down, check, they move, and then rook down, checkmate. Should be it. Just made in 2. Yeah, knight in. You go down, they can't go up. I guess they could go here. So I guess made in 3. But that's the same. It's the same thing. And they go here, and there's made on the next turn. All right, they push to f4. Take. King up. Check. Oh, that's the knight here makes it checkmate. That's pretty cool. So you take, and now knight down. They have to go up, and rook here would not be mate if the knight wasn't there. Because the knight's there, it is actually checkmate. All right, for this next one, the rook's here on d6. Cx d6. I mean, it feels like a no-brainer, to be honest. Like, just taking. I don't get why that... Is that really just... Like, you're up a exchange. You can't trap the queen. Yeah, if this is wrong, it's wrong. This has to be right, though. Yes. Now you have c4, winning more material because the knight can't move. So we go here, and now you take the queen first. If you take this first, you lose your queen and the game. So you take, and then you take the knight. All right, the first, what is this, 24. Double check, checkmate. The problem being, if you go here, king over. Rook down, king here. We run into some type of problem. Knight capture, king up, another problem. So 2 issues with this. So the knight slides in, king over. Rook down, king g7. But it just must not be that big of an issue. Otherwise, it wouldn't be that. Yeah, it can't be. Because you can't do this. This doesn't work after king here. So knight here. Now I have to figure out the rest of it. Rook down, king up. Oh, and then knight h5. Yeah, okay, I see it. Now the knight is under attack, but knight here guards the square, checks, and the king can't move anywhere legally anymore. I believe you sack the queen. Whatever they do, if they take this way, that's checkmate. If you sack the queen, they take, that's checkmate. So either way, it should be mate on this next one. Sack queen, and then mate in 1 here on h7. We have the first 30. Alright, that's the first mini goal, to not mess up on the easier puzzles. Like that's the strategy if you're going to try and get to a high number. You have to use all the incorrect strikes on the higher number puzzles. But the rook's there on f4. We see that there's a free pawn on e3. There's a knight check. The knight f3, I don't think makes that much sense. They're just going to drop it to anything, really. Oh, wait, okay. Okay, so that is forcing, though. If you give that check, they have to take it. They take with the queen. You go rook down, check. Oh, yes, it is that. Yeah. It's here. Because I'll show the full line after we get this correct. Hopefully correct. Down. And then take. Okay. The reason this works is because if they instead take here, rook e1, king up, the bishop guards the queen. This is just checkmate on h3, right? Which is why that one is so winning. That's a fun puzzle. That's definitely a fun puzzle. Let's go to this next one. The king has dropped back here to f1. What can we do with the black pieces to get a victory? So the rook slides down on b1. That's a check. The king can come forward. But yeah, that is subpar. Oh, I see it. It's knight f5, knight e3. Because knight f5, the rook's hanging. Right? So they have to react to that. But they can't guard e3. And the rook already attacks the bishop. So it's a knight maneuver. Back. They move out the way. Check. And that bishop falls at the end. Alright. We have the black pieces again in this one. Rook's on e7. I think it's king f3. Because rook f7, rook f4. And they can't actually get there in time. Yeah. If you go back, they go over. Which I think would be winning if the pawns aren't there. But they are there. They go king here. Rook over. Take. And that's the winning endgame. They capture on b2. In this game, we are equal right now. So if you take on b8, the rook can drop down. And your knight, yeah, that does not feel correct. This is not an obvious one to me, honestly. Capturing does kind of force rook down to a8. I don't know how you would guard your knight, though. That's what I don't understand. Like, how would you guard the knight to a point where you thought this was a good idea? And there's nothing to do with the king. The king is completely safe. I'm guessing you can just take the knight, and I just don't see what to do after. So you take knight. Oh, I think I get it. Okay, so if you take this, right? If they just take, you take the rook. So that's why they can't do that. So you take, they have to go rook down, right? You go bishop to e5, because right now, you're up a knight. You're up a minor piece for nothing. You're up right now for nothing. So when you're here, if they take, you're back equal. But then you can I thought you could sacrifice. But then they have this check, which is the only thing that doesn't work. Everything else would work, but no. If there's one problem with it, you can't do it. It almost works though. Take, rook here, bishop back sacking, bishop takes, here double attacking. I guess also if they just took that, take, you're only up a pawn, so that's probably not it for other reasons. Take, rook down. Man, this is a difficult one. You must have to take the knight. I don't see anything else. Because this, if you go rook move, this is free. You move this, they go back. Alright, now what is the rest? Can you take this? No. Knight back. Rook up. No, this is not. There's no check. Bishop here, they take. Bishop here? No, but then they could threaten another piece there, which is not what we're looking for. Capturing. They could take something. Back, take, check. And that's why that idea doesn't work. Rook over. I don't see. I may get the 34th puzzle wrong. We need the 34th puzzle correct if we're going to get to 63. So I have to sit here and think for a second. Alright, the bishops. Right now we're up a minor piece. We can somehow maintain that. We have an advantage. Oh, is it? Oh, I think I see it. Is it bishop here? Because if they can't take it now. And if they take, then my idea of discovered. But I guess they'd win the knight at the end. Oh, but you already took a piece. Yeah. Yes, it is this. And then you discover here. So I had the right thought of discovery. It was just in the wrong order, I believe. Yeah. I'll do this next one here. Defend knight with... Oh, yes. You are correct there. Dot. Knight move. I think any... The problem with the knight moves, in my mind, where if you move the knight, they can take. So it's no... Like, yeah, this is probably... Oh, this is not equal. Why is this not equal? Let's say it's probably equal. Oh, the pawn difference. That's the puzzle's way of telling us you can't. Because you can't have an equal amount of minor pieces with the pawn difference. I didn't notice that until now. I was about to say this is just a draw, so you're right that it's okay. But they're up too many points of material there. I know this next one. About time. Oh, you guys had it in chat already? Bishop d6, bishop d6. Okay, two of you guys had it there. Okay, I see you. I see you guys. It took me a little bit for that one. It's not timed, though. I'm glad it's not timed. I feel like I could still do okay with time if I knew it was timed, but it not being is helpful. Rook captures h5, I'm pretty sure it's just it. Yeah. Take, and then up. And now the king's too slow. Oh, this is pretty cool. So you take here, they go back, and then up, and then over, and then check, and then like wherever, and then take, and then push here, and then you go back, stopping it. Because anything else doesn't work. Like if you just go here, oh, I'll just do it, yeah. And now opposition, and you can't move king f3. Because you go king f3, they have this check, right? So it doesn't work. And now if you go down, they can go up, or I guess up here. That's also, you could really just do it again, though. Like, obviously, it's a puzzle, so this is wrong. But you could just go here. Because they can't go up, which is the whole point. So you'd go here, they'd go back. So you could win or draw this game, which obviously you choose to win it, which is why it's king here. But you could draw it, too. You can go rook down, and then win this, and then you go back over. I want to show that real quick. It's not important, but you could, like, repeat the position. Because rook... No, you can't. Really? Why can you not repeat it? I don't see that at all. King g2. Is this not... Oh, they can go back and forth diagonally. So it's not... It is... You can't repeat it. You could... I mean, it's a draw, but you can't still win after not playing that move first. Alright, so this next one. We have the white pieces. We see the makings of an... Oh, no, this is... Oh yeah. So you just take check, king takes, king moves. Oh, this is coming this way. So yeah, I get it. You take here, take, king takes, and whatever, they're just too far away. And we just go. We don't have to take this, because whenever they push this extra square, our king's already guarding it. Up, and that's 37. They slide down with the... Really? This is just made in one. Say queen h8, you just go queen e1. Wow. 38. Maybe I'm just doing these more so they're getting easier. Because before, 30 to 40 was not this much of a given. But this seems like it's just... This is also just made in one, though. But even... Really? Okay, it's just mate. Alright, next. King slides over. Another simpler one. This is made in 3. Because you have bishop check. They can't move. So they have to go over. Sat, queen, take, and then rook down. Yeah, that's all you have to do. And queen slides down, and then checkmate here on e1. Alright. We're on number... What are we on? Number 40. Right now we have equal material. What? So do you just take... Hey, maybe there's an optimal way to do this, but... Oh, no, no, it's not equal material. Okay, I was about to say, what are we doing? That feels like that was too simple. It's still just take on c4, though, but it's not as easy as I thought it was. It's a little more complex with why it is that, but it is just take on c4 with the queen. Because you take here, you're equal, right? But they have 2 pieces hanging, and they can't take a piece with check, which is the problem. And you can with this side of the board. So you take, if they take here, you're down again, you're tied now, and then you take that at the end, and you'll be up this knight at the end of that. And then here, if they go knight back, you could slide check, right, and this is still hanging. I think that's it. We'll see if I'm right. I could be wrong, but yeah, you just capture. This is what they do instead. Yeah, the other way didn't make as much sense. This is obviously still not winning, but it creates more of an opportunity to mess up. Because if you go queen b4, it does work. Because c6, you're under attack. But queen back check, they can push up with no initiative, and it doesn't work the same way. Right? They have to move the queen up. Whereas if you go here, they can move the pawn up. And then you have to move, then they can just get rid of the knight. But now you take check, and then take the knight in the center, and that's 40. So their knight's here now. There's another one. Really? Okay, you just take, I believe, and then take it then up here to e4. Because if you were to do it in another order, it doesn't work the same way. It doesn't work the same way because if you do this here, I mean, it's not even comparable. I'm like showing the alternative, but you would make this move off of the fact that the other move is not even good. Like, it's not even like the other move is okay and you're finding the best move. Like, you're probably losing if you take this way. Because then here, and then back, and then knight there. Yeah, that's just not a fun position. But with this way, if you take the queen takes, you take queen takes, you take the knight. Take, the queen can't move, right, or you, so they have to do this. And then you push up, yes. And you win the knight here on f3. Alright, next, they have the pawn here on b5. My first thought is this is some type of sacrifice. This is where my mind first goes. With knight captures on b5. Because if you take with the bishop and then pawn takes, knight takes, they could go bishop d7. Which I don't think is that good for me. There's no queen move or anything, which is another tell. Or another reason why I'm assuming it's a sacrifice. Because the queen can't do anything useful, right? Queen e4 just forces an exchange of queens. To which, I guess, you would be winning. No, it would be a draw still. Equal pawns there, equal minor pieces. So it's not a bad thing, but it's probably not what you want to do, right? I think it's queen to e4. No. I think it's bishop captures b5. I don't think it's queen to e4. Because if they go bishop d7, you could take... Knight takes, pawn takes. Bishop takes, check. King slides. That's the only problem. Is once the king slides over... I don't know how you could continue, as the dark square bishop is too limited. to really aid the attack. It's too out of the game. Like, if you could give some type of check here on a5 after, it'd be amazing. But I don't think you can do that. I think you... Alright, now I'm second guessing myself. I don't know if you can sack. Because as I've talked it out, there's really no way you could win the game that I can see. Because knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes. I mean, they could even just move their bishop up. Like, why not? You take queen takes, king takes. They're just winning in an endgame. I see something on this diagonal, but again, like, how do you make that happen? H3, the queen falls. That's the other issue. The queen is just under attack. So you would assume you have to... Okay, I think this is wrong, but I don't see anything else. And honestly, if I sit here longer, I don't think I'm going to find it. I think you sack. If you go up, I don't think that works. They just go back, yeah. That is correct. I don't know why this works. Because I see the rook, I see rook over. I just don't get how that's win. Like, I don't know how that's winning. Because you take, they go here. I don't get it. Take over. Oh, and then queenie. Oh, I do get it. It's queen e4 at the end. So take. And then now you can take. Yeah. Because you have this. Which is what I didn't see. I saw like this. This is where I got to. Like, after the queen's here, how do you possibly win this? Queen e4 is the idea. Because then you take the rook here in the corner. Okay. We got that one. It took more time than I would want it to take. But it is untimed. So we can take as long as we need to. And we're at 42. We're now 20 off of tying my personal record. And to this point, it's a better run than last time. I had one incorrect around this time last time. And then appreciate those likes there on TikTok. Closing in on 1.2 thousand. I'll make sure there's no puzzle before the live gets shut off. No, there's not. And then Conan, appreciate the follow there on TikTok. And Rosie, I think that says. Is that Rosie? I think so. Am I reading that right? Yes. Alright, let's go to this next one. They have their pawn here on g6. Queen h3 is where my mind shoots to immediately. Because queen slides over. They go qa1, knight b1. And you're still threatening their king. But also because of that, rook sack. But rook sack doesn't work. If the king was on... Well, I don't think it works with that on g7 either. But usually in the puzzles you would do that. The king is on g7, so it's check. If it's not check, I don't know. That kind of feels like a waste of a sacrifice. So queen slides over, queen a1, knight b1. They do whatever, because they can't stop you taking on h7. What I don't see is how it's not... Oh, it's not mate. Oh, it's mate because of the pawn here. I'm like, how is this checkmate? It's because, like, whatever happens here, you're going to get queen takes, right? They can slide. No, they can slide here. You would check. And then I assume they'd go up. And then you check. And then over. And then check. Huh. How do they get... I'm not sure how you mate them. This is definitely the move, though. Because nothing else makes any sense. And they go down, yeah. How is it, mate? Because if you just... Huh. Well, you would have to take, I'm sure. Now... Oh, I see. It's because here... It's here immediately. Why did I not see that before? I saw this at the end. And then I saw... As you saw my calculation, I was saying here and then rook over. But the move... I don't know. I just missed it at this point. But queen down. And then here and then check. No, but no. They could still go there. Which is why I'm confused. Can they not just get here to C7 or D7 and go C6? So that's clearly what I have to stop in the calculation is king here, which does not feel that easy to do, right? Because I see check and then up. You could bring the rook in, and it forces king here. Oh, and then queen f6 checkmate. Yes, and that is mate because the rook's now there. I keep forgetting that square is able to be used. And you don't even get that far. But I'll show the checkmate on the board. Play a game. So I won't be playing any games today. The way I do my streams, I have... Yesterday, I had a viewer battle, like a viewer tournament. So you who are watching, they join in, we play, they vote on it, and we have a, it's a fun time. Hours of playing people in the chat. And then today, a puzzle day. So only puzzles, and tomorrow, I only play rated games. Tomorrow. So yeah, it's organized like that. I used to just do the tournaments, but people were asking me to switch it up, and I listened. So that's why I want to try and honor that. Although, honestly, I do enjoy playing myself, too. But we go rook here to h7. This is why it works. And if they go here, it's queen here to f6, checkmate. Which is what I was missing. And the other line, I was also missing. I don't know. I guess whatever happens, I was just missing queen f6. Yeah. All right, let's go to this next one. Appreciate the likes, Mr. Orr. Closing in on 1.3 thousand. We're on 44 here. I kind of see it. Because if you go here, check. They can't go back because you take. So you'd go here. It forces the knight to take. But then you could go queen here. What I'm missing is after king here, there must be a checkmate or something. Because I can see the... Oh, wait. Oh, would you just take... Nothing. You could just go here first, and then you could... Yeah, I was doing it way more complicated. Just queen here, check, and then down. Really? That's pretty easy if that's it. You just give a check, they go down, you take. No way. No way. Check with pawn. Or I'll... If I'm right about my second thought, I'll show that. But I also did see check with pawn. I don't think that would have worked because... But I'll go in depth, but I think because king a4 was possible. But I was looking at that as well. I think you go here, though. And they go down, then you take. Am I missing something? There's no way it's just you win a rook in 2 moves. I guess it is. Maybe I'm missing that there's like a mate here. So check, down. You can't sack, because if they take king up, the rook can't come back down because of the knight. I think it is just this. Okay. And this is free now. That's really easy. But the reason the other way doesn't work, besides the fact that I just missed it. If you go here, so say takes, and if you go queen d3 here, the problem with, oh, not even this, they could just take it. Yeah, I missed that part. I was going to say here, they could just go here, which is also still winning, but they also could just take the pawn. Yeah, we get that one correct. We're at 44 for 44. So a very nice start to this one. Let's see if we can continue. They give this check. Now, if you know how to promote, you know you can't go rook h4. If you do, they'll take king takes. And after, well, I guess like king h2. Takes, king h2, over, down, up, over. You can never get opposition. So you kind of know you have to go king. Like king g3 is the only move that would continue any sort of advantage. I imagine the idea, well, okay, it has to be this. No, what? No way. Can I not do endgames anymore? Why? Oh my god, it's not that move. It's not that move. I'm thinking you're going here. That's a crazy one to get wrong. That's really easy too. And I messed that one up. Like, this is made in 2. No way, bro. Oh well. We need to not get anything else wrong. This is here. Check. They go here. Take. Yeah. That's a tough one. Oh, am I in check? No. Why can't I just do this? And it's not working. I'm not in check. I can play this. What's happening? Oh, the puzzle wasn't right. They didn't do it yet. They had to make their move. Well, you can still make this move, though. Because this is still a checkmate idea. Yes. And then you take, and then queen down here. Alright, we got one right after a very bad puzzle to get it wrong. Rook over is forced checkmate. They can't stop that. And then you just take the rook, and then rook down at the end mate. The rook's going to slide over here to f2. Alright, if you capture, they have queen down. So I don't know if that's going to be the move here. Instead, what can we do? rook captures, queen captures, rook captures. No, that's not it either. If you were to try and take this first. So let's say you do this first. You want a rook. They go down. Check. Rook down. Oh no, you could save that. Yeah, you could definitely save that. And then king. Is it king captures or is it rook captures here? Because if you take this, they have a check, down, check, over. I feel like they should be able to win at some point. But if rook takes this, you're completely winning, I think. Yeah. The other way, I think, it felt like it was okay, but it probably wasn't, because they wouldn't make it a puzzle if you could do the other thing. If you take the rook instead. What is it? Queen e2. I saw this. King here. Oh, QD1. Oh, QD1 is why it doesn't work. So here now, here, it's repetition with back here, and then here, and then here. Now this is not it. But there's repetition, though, that I'm not playing correctly, which is why that one doesn't work. All right, next. You see their knights here in the center? The queen could slide over, and I think that is all you have to do. Because if rook slides in here, check, over. Oh no. It is rook then. Because you take with the queen and they go here, you can't mate them. You would check, up, check. They can bring the queen down. You bring the rook here, check. The king goes down, this is checkmate here on e7. If rook captures, king goes up, right? You could still give this check for checkmate because of this knight here. I think it's rook captures, and that I'll show that real quick. There is mate whichever way the king decides to go. Alright, down. If they go here, this is mate. Oh, whoa, no, that's not mate. That's not mate. It's queen here then, yeah. Good thing they didn't ask me that part of it. But if they go here, then you can go here. And then I completely missed the queen was there. Thankfully, the puzzle. Thankfully, we still got it right, though. But we're sitting at 48 correct. Alright, this is not the worst spot. Definitely could have got that one wrong right. But we're here now. The king slides back here to c1. What's obvious to me is the bishop has it's on the longest diagonal. And has the ability to become somewhat useful. But also bishop d5 threatens mate in 1, which is a weird way to think about mate in 1. But it would be mate if you could go bishop e3 immediately, as they can't go to d1. They couldn't move anywhere on that diagonal. They can't go forward because of the knight, and they can't move. Yeah, so bishop d4 does threaten that checkmate in 1. To which, honestly, it's forced. Unless they just sack the rook on e2, which would be a win. So yeah, that's what I'm going to play. It could be wrong, but I believe in it. So here, you have to sack the rook. After take, check, I think you like zigzag towards the rook or something, or at least zigzag to here so the rook could come down and guard the attack. I don't know why this is part of the puzzle, because rook down and here are the only two moves. So you know it's not rook down, you have to go king here. Alright, the queen slides over. There's a ginormous fork here on the board. Let's see. What's going on, Rob? How you doing, bro? How'd the finals go for you, man? Man, we're doing some puzzles. My new personal best is 62. I'm trying to break it right here. 13 away from tying it at least. 13 away. 2300 blitz and 2500 bullet. You are a super sweat. And Mr. Orr, appreciate those likes there, man. Yeah, queen captures G2. King takes, knight captures. That doesn't feel right at all. Because we're down. We're down. So it has to be a checkmate if you're down. Has to be a mate. Take here. Check. One more. One on a Friday is unfair. That's ridiculous. I'd be quite upset. My last one was yesterday morning, so all done there. They went the first one, not good, but the second one, I think went good, and that's the one that mattered more. Anyway, so I worked out and did bad on the one that didn't matter as much. Man, the queen is here. I imagine it's queen takes, because king moves. You have this fork here. I don't. And then Mr. Orr, appreciate these likes. This is chess.com, Luke. This is chess.com. This is Puzzle Rush Survival Mode here. Man, can you move here at all? No, that's wrong. I didn't think that was it, honestly. I just didn't see anything go. You can do that. Really? Huh. Okay. I looked at it, but I didn't see that worked. So now if 2 incorrect, really the odds are stacked against me. Knight back is the first thought here. With this check, they slide over. Oh, check, takes, checkmate. Okay, I see this one. Here, take, and then you can move bishop in, because if king slides, knight here is mate. So now they have to take with the knight. Alright, we're at 50. We're at 50. Queen takes after check with both knights. Wait, let's see. You said queen takes after checks with both. How do you do these type of puzzles? Do you mean like how do I solve them? Or you mean like how do I do it on chess.com? I'm assuming you mean how do you solve it. I'll make sure I answer the right question though. But you're saying here takes... Where do you... Oh no, queen can't take because of the pin. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it can't because the queen there on c6. Alright, so this next one here. 5-hour exam? What do you have to do like that? That's ridiculous. How do you do these on chess.com? So you can go to... If you go to puzzles, and then there's a puzzle rush icon, and then it's a survival mode you have to click on there. But they take here on e4. Knight b6, I don't think would work. Knight b6, the king slides up, and your queen is hanging. That's another part of this one. The queen takes that. Queen takes queen. Queen takes queen. You're saying, I want to see what you're saying. You're saying queen takes queen here. Take. Oh, no. If you're saying this, I don't think it works because they can do this. I think that's what you're saying. I think that's what you're saying. If not, I apologize. But that's what I don't see another way you could do it. Like immediately, then it doesn't. That's what I did. So yeah, you must mean the other move then. Alright, let's go back to this one here. Knight sliding in, check. The king goes forward. And then taking, the queen falls. So that's not it. If you take down here and then check, that could be interesting. I think it's too slow because their rook could slide down and then it wouldn't work. And then VII, appreciate the likes there. Closing in on 1.4 thousand on TikTok. But we give this check, make sure. Oh, you said, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Oh, good eye then, good eye. As you saw, I did not see that one at all. But yeah, knight can give a check. They move up here. That doesn't feel... That can't be it. That doesn't do anything. Doesn't do anything at all. Knight b6 check. The king just goes forward, and then if you take... And the rook... I guess the rook could then come up. I almost see the makings of a mate if the knight was anchored. But the knight's not anchored, which is the problem. So if we took... So these are the two options I'm considering. Knight here or queen takes. Taking here, you just lose the queen. So it's either a check or moving the queen out the way. So which one works better? The check is obviously more forcing, but after king up, and then if you took, they could just take. So here, if the bishop moves, you have mate. But then the same issue, if you check king up, if you took king up, this may be the third strike. I'm not gonna, this might be the third strike. I'm quite confused here. But yeah, knight b6, the king moves, that's not it. Queen take, but queen takes also doesn't work. Like that doesn't work. The bishop could just stay there for the rest of the game. They could also just go, okay, I think it's knight because we take of the queen, they can go bishop a5. And there's really nothing. And anything else, let's say, could you go queen? If you go queen f6, is there a tactic there? Because the rook is hanging. So the queen has to take the queen. If the knight takes, Rook can go back. You can't win anything. So what I'm looking at is queen here now. And if they have to take... Oh, no, they can go back. They don't have to take. No, but then you take this. So, no. They would have to capture this. And then you could take with the knight. Attacking the rook. So now we have this, or this. I feel like it's this move, though. If you go in, they go in. Knight takes... Yeah, I'm going to go for it. No, that's wrong. What is it? We stop at 50 this time. It is there. You take... Oh, okay. So it's knight c6, but not because of this, but because you can then take a piece. And now you take. If they take, the rook's hanging. What a tactic. Oh, no, that's not even the best move. The best move is to take this first? Really? Okay. And now you're +4, basically. Yeah, we get that one incorrect. Queen f6. I also thought queen f6. Let's see why that doesn't work, though. If you go queen f6 instead, which what we did, rook g3. Ah, rook g3 is the only move, but I missed it. And this works. Why? If you take here, I guess there's just nothing here at the end. Yeah. Okay, let's go to this next one. Not this next one, this next run. 55 and 50. I mean, honestly, both of these are in my top all time. Top 15. I mean, I'll take it. There's some 41s in there. If we can get all the 41s in there, that'd be nice. And then, appreciate those likes again. All right, third time, hopefully a charm here, as we do not get even close to the record on these runs, but 2 easy ones to start off. A checkmate again. All right, next up, rook down mate. Rook down mate. Perfect. Checkmate here. And we have the first 6, have the first 7, have the first 8, all mate in 1s. This one should be a mate in 2, or mate in 3, I guess the queen can block. And then checkmate there at the end. Mate in 2, the knight's guarding the escape square. Now we have another mate in 1, queen e3. These are all on the easier side. This is hopefully how we get with all the puzzles at some point. This one, you can see there's opposition, so there's a way to get mate pretty simple. The queen's going to take with check. You get another check, and then the queen's going to slide in on that next move to cement it. Alright, their rook's going to drop back. Queen sliding directly in front of the king will be mate. As you see, it's anchored by the knight. If they push, she'll take, which is what is probably going to happen. Yeah, and the knight's guarding the queen there. The bishop's going to drop back. You can sack the bishop if they take. Running the other moves you are thinking. Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's the most natural, honestly, to show why it was wrong. Because I definitely have a lot of wrong first thoughts. Oh, I don't know, though. If you sack here, up. Oh, then the diagonal thing I was talking about earlier in the stream. The diagonal mate. Okay, you do sack. And then if they do, we'll show that. Because this one is easier to see if they go back. This is just checkmate, right? This is a little bit harder to see. How do you mate? It's because of this. Oh, wait, no. It's not that. It's here. Well, this is still a mate idea, isn't it? Here, and then back. There shouldn't be a mate here. Oh, no, there's not. Well, that's what I thought it was. But instead, it's queen here. Lateral, control, king can't move. All right, next up, we're at, what's that, 15? 16. We have the first 16. Let's try and get to 17 here, which should be pretty easy. Then you just take this. So they take, that's going to be checkmate eventually. So take, they would take your queen, you'd be up a rook there. Yeah, just capture and then capture. And you're up the exchange, not the rook. The king's going to slide over. You have light squared pieces, we should use them. Bishop here to h3 check. Rook slides over. Check runs into this, which is why, oh, then you could go over. Yeah, I was like, how do you mate after that here? But then queen, it is puzzle day Red Panda, puzzle day indeed. The first 2 runs, and then Lemon appreciate the follow. First 2 runs we got 55 then 50. We are trying to get to the record, although not the best start for that. We go up here to h3 attacking. Queen could slide in, check. I mean, that's free. It's probably just that. Yeah. We have the first 20. Alright, we got the first 20. It's better than not having the first 20. But obviously, this is not the hard part of what we're trying to do. But it's good to have it done, though. Like, you know, it's definitely... You could get them wrong. Rook and slide down, check. They go over, check. No, but if you go here, down, check, over? I mean, this is definitely the first move. I don't see how... Oh, I get it. It's checkmate. Because you go here, they go... Wherever they go, this is mate. That's a fun one. I almost didn't see that, but the pawn here is guarding the king from moving. So that's checkmate. Alright, the queen's going to slide in. I think you sack your queen, and you promote to get a queen, and you're just up material in this one. Checkmate all the way here on h8. Almost didn't see that one, but we see it. This is a fun checkmate. You go here, but you don't take. You go rook here to e1, deflecting the queen off. You're down a rook right now, but the rook can't guard it. Now the queen takes, and that's checkmate. The bishops want to slide in. Alright, you see they have this. So you know you have to have a mate idea, and you do. You have this check, but what's the follow-up? You have the diagonal. All the dark squares are taken care of, and the H are in the first rank. The first rank and all the dark square diagonals. You know light squared piece. But you have no light squared bishop, as it's on a light square. This is a light square to escape. The knight, luckily, is a piece that can check and guard that at the same time. What's going on, Aiden? How you doing today, man? And that's checkmate. Rook slides. I think rook down. And then bishop x d4 and rook x f1. So check, take, check, checkmate. Alright, 26. The rook slides over here. Oh, the knight's trapped. Yeah, the knight's trapped. You can go here attacking the rook. I am confused, though. If you go here, and they go over. Oh, I guess you could go here, then. And then up, and then... yeah, I get it. Oh. Well... oh, then you can go here now. But no, you can't. If you go there, they could take on c5, then. Huh. That's an interesting one. If you go bishop d4... oh, then... oh, no, they can't. You go bishop x f2. Wow, a fun puzzle. You do this instead, and now you take. Okay. This is a mate in one. Queen down here to h1. Checkmate. Their knight's going to move. Let's see. 2100. Yeah. I'm not surprised. I know when I used to play, it did not feel like you were your rating. Congratulations, man. But the knight's there on c5. Queen. I mean, the queen has to move. It would either be e3. Oh, I see it. It's QE. Yeah, so it's queen e3. The king moves. I'm like, there's no way you can check again. Because you can't go here, right? Or you can't go there. So it has to, I'm like, it has to be this. But after, I'm like, the queen can't check again. It's because it doesn't need to. You check with the pawn over. Checkmate with this pawn here. So check, check, checkmate. The pawns work together on this one. The queen's going to slide here to e2. Okay. If you give a check here... oh, that's just losing. Doesn't like it's a losing position, but it is. Because bishop to h4 check. They go up. You take, sacking the knight. But even if they take back here, they still have to sack the queen. Like, it's not like they can sack one piece and they're just back okay with the position. Like, whatever they do, it is just a loss after this. And capture. They have to sack the queen now, and you take the queen. Alright, you have the first 30. We'll take it. 35 more to go. We're not even halfway there to the goal. So we have to stay focused. Bishop to a6, I think, is probably the idea. Yes, take, and that's going to be checkmate. Alright, you see the queen's there in the center. What I like here, though, is the dark squares are a little weak by the king, and their dark square bishop can't get there to protect them. The rook controls the f-file, so the king is cut off from this side of the board, obviously. Right, it can't move. Obviously, it can move here. But, you know, this whole box is gone. And then Mario, appreciate the follow there. The last one, got you. So in the last puzzle, is this the last one? Oh, is this? I feel like I clicked the wrong puzzle. Is this it? Yeah, it is. Okay. So in this puzzle, the reason it works, when they slide the king, oh, is this the move? Yeah, they slide the king over. You see the queen. How should I explain this? So when you're attacking the king, you want to look at what pieces and doing puzzles too, but also in the game, how limited is the king right now? So you could see here, the king can't move anywhere. It can't move to the e file or it can't move to the dark square diagonal because the queen's so strong. So you know you need a light squared piece. Because say you moved, this is going to look very dumb, but if you were to go here, which you obviously wouldn't do, but imagine the queen. Let's just set up where the queen's not there because this looks very stupid. If now you go over, the king could just move here, right? Well, this, don't ignore the eval bar because it's just winning because of the position. But the king could go over, so you want to like constrain the king to these areas, right? So you know the queen probably shouldn't move, so you have to find a second piece to deliver the check, which is why the bishop is the move. Because they can't guard. Like, if they go here, you could still checkmate them. And they're down a queen. Even if you don't see the mate, you would win this game if you don't find the mate because you're up. But again, the king can't move because we've already established it can't move anywhere because of the queen. So they have to block, which is why it happens. They block and then block, which is why you're able to do that one. Now for this one, let me know if it's something else you want me to double check or go over again because I did that a little bit quick. But let me know. I can definitely go back. I think it's queen here to a5. You're giving the check, and this is kind of the same idea as the last puzzle. Where can the king not go? As I was saying, it can't go in this box, right? Because of the rook. The queen here, they can only block or move it here, which is checkmate. So they can only block. So I think it's queen here. Yeah. And then they would just mate there on d2, which is the problem for that one. I think you sack the rook. So you take check. Yeah, because they go back, you go here, they go over, that's mate. And then you take and then take. Yeah, absolutely. And then queen stops, back, and then checkmate. Yeah. Oh wait. You can't do that because of this. But this is still lit. I'm pretty sure. What is it here instead then? And then yeah, that is. Oh, you cannot do this. This would be that'd be horrible. I do have to do a little bit of thinking now because I was about to go play QG3. I now see the issue. So queen b2 check, king back. Check up, check down. How is this even made anymore? Well, it has to be queen b2 because there's no other legal check that you could make. Or I guess you could go queen d6. But I have a feeling that after king g2, it's just a loss. So I'm going to go here. Although I'm not as confident as I just was. It is that. I'll try the other way doesn't work in a second. See if I can get the puzzle right first. If you take on a1, the king comes up. I like run into a similar issue. Knight check. I don't think that's it. Because if you give a knight check, here, check, here, take, and then up, they could take. So I would imagine you take the rook. It's just after that, I don't get how you would win. They go up here. And then the same thing. Are you down a rook to start this? No, you're sacking the rook. So it's checkmate. Like, you wouldn't just sack the rook to take it back. But you have to take it because knight in doesn't work at all. Right? Knight f2, king g2, knight d3. They could just go back. Yeah, you would have to take this. Now, this is where we get a little confused. Oh. I get it. It's because if they go here, this is a fork. So if you give the check. Now, I don't know the difference. Oh, yeah, here. I say, why can't you take this? Because the queen's guarding it. So you go here. If they go back, that is an issue. Because you could walk the queen in. And eventually, you get to here and then go back. And you go down. They go to. I think it's this, though. Yeah, I'll show. That doesn't make you find a lot of the moves there. I feel like you should definitely explain that if you're the puzzle. So check, you take. Now the problem is if they go. Oh, 1 second. I do this puzzle so the live doesn't end. I've been looking for it. All right. No, I did it wrong somehow. All right. There we go. Okay. Cool. So back to the chess puzzles. With king going back and forth, yeah, I'm right. You can just zigzag closer, and eventually it should be a win. And then check, and then up, and then here. How would you win it though? This is a win. Wow. They're not showing you how to win it. They're just saying this is a winning game. It's saying back here, and then queen d2, then king h1, and then, yeah, is this a draw? The computer, all the best moves are suggesting to repeat the entire time. Oh, now knight g3, and then take, and this is a winning, I see, a winning endgame, because you're plus 3 points of material. And then you couldn't have gone queen, we did a lot of extra moves, but you could not have gone queen down, because after king over, there's no way to continue. I know this next one, we have the first 33, I think that is there. Yes, the first 33 we have completed. Their bishop's here on e3. So this one is a understanding scope. I think that's the term. So, bishop captures, right? You're up a minor piece. If the bishop takes back, you then have queen here to a5, right? So it's the check. You're taking the bishop there. And the point of this is understanding like the squares, diagonals, files. So take here, queen here, and you take this here. Alright, let's go to this next one. We're sitting at 34 right now. We're now 31 away. 31 away. Move their king forward. Honestly, I think you just go here. And then if they push, you take here and then king up. Because if you go, oops, they go here, here, king here, over, 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 down, over, over, yeah. And they can't win that endgame. And I'll show that real quick why it works. The problem with the white side here is that, okay, if they don't push up, right? If they go here, now king here, right? And you're getting here, honestly, you could win either of these pawns that you're choosing. I don't know if there's a preferred way to do it. This is also still winning, because you just go here and take this one. But it may be simpler if you just go here. And then they do whatever, and then take, and then here. And then up, right? So that's that one. Let's go to this next one here. We're at 35. Their bishop's on g2. There should be a checkmate somewhere. So bishop to f2 check. If the king slides over, you would think it's 93, but the bishop takes, right? But I know it has something to do with that. So bishop check, king can only move to f1. Because if you go to d, there's a double check there with the knight and the rook, right? If you go here and they were to slide over, you could take double check or do anything. I think that's actually checkmate that way. Yeah, if you went to e3. So you go here, you know they have to move their king over. The problem I'm having is if you go here, they would take. Oh, I get it. It's because it's still checkmate. So check over. Here they have to take, but then rook down, that's mate, yes. And now rook down, it's a force. The bishop's only legal move, so that's how you know it's it. This way is a mate in 3, I believe. So rook down here to c8, check, right? The king has to come forward, step forward here, check. The king has to step forward, but then you slide over to that, well, okay. Here, up, checkmate. They can't move there or there or there, and they can't take it. So I think that's it. Here, up, rook over. And the difference is, if you're considering going h6 first, they have, I don't know if it's mate, they may have mate. At least infinite check. No, this is losing. Yes. After king f8. How is this losing? Oh, because of the pawn. Like, can you not just do this? But they can just here, here. Yeah, this is complete. Yeah, they have other pieces, not just the rooks here. And that would be a loss. So you have to give the check, and it's a forced mate in 3 as you saw there. We're here on 37 now. Can we get 38 correct? Their bishop's on g5. Taking it, probably not a realistic option, right? Because the queen's just there. You can almost... You can sack the queen, yeah. Because takes, rook up, rook down, right? Okay. Sack queen, rook down, take. That's when we checkmate eventually. Alright, the king slides here to h2. Where can we go now? So the knight can slide to f3. But no, that's not it. So the knight can't slide to f3. Not if you want to win the game. Right now we have a bishop hanging. They have a bishop hanging. Is there any way we could use that to our advantage? If we take the bishop, they take your bishop. So probably not. Probably have to let that go. So say we take, they take. There's no real follow-up. If bishop takes on g2, their light square bishop could move there itself. Knight to f3 check. The queen, again, or the bishop just takes. So that's why I'm leaning towards just taking it. But I don't see, like, the tactic in that. Like, there's no way to really win that way. So if the queen slides back to h5, here, they would take. And then there's no way out of that. So you have to take this. I just don't get what happens after this. But you have to. There's no way you can't take it. Because anything else, they just win it for free, right? If you, I don't know. Say you just go back. I guess take, and then rook over. You must have to take this. Like, there's no... It's kind of a guess. Because I don't see the rest of it. But nothing else makes any sense to me, honestly. Okay, that is correct. I take here on h3. Now the follow-up is what we have. So, no. So it's not a queen move, because these are only 4 infiltration squares, and it can't go there, or there, or there, or there. So then pawn, knight, rook. I guess probably not the rook. So pawn or knight. Pawn up, takes. I guess you're just down. Knight here, knight here. Oh, wait. So if you give a check, can they not sack, though? If they sack the queen, you take, they take. Oh, it's not there. So it's here or here. And here I don't think works. I don't get how this works, though. If you move your knight here to f3, if the queen takes, you're down a knight. If you take, you have a queen for a knight. They take. So here, queen takes. Oh my god, you guys won the... What am I talking about? You just won the rook. Oh. I don't know why that took me so long. Yeah, if you go here, take. You could just take. And you have 2 rooks left. Yeah, and then if you go here and then go back, that's checkmate, I think. Okay. Here. That took me way too long. That was not that hard. But the king's here on d7. If they... Okay, Eliza, you're locked in, I see. You're very locked in. Bishop here looks like mates. Almost. If the king drops back... This would be better. But they... Oh my... Wait. You just... You can just take the pawn here and they go back and then that's checkmate. I'm like, here doesn't really work because they could go back. And then here doesn't really... Oh, you can't even go there anyways. But you just take the pawn here. This is free. Yes. And then you go here. And get checkmate. Around the first 40. Not the most difficult first 40, but not the easiest either. You see they have a queen on a light square, king on a light square at bishop. Something tells me that has something to do with how we win it. Check. But if they go there, I don't really see how that's beneficial. Oh, is it because you can do this? you can go here, attacking the queen. The queen can't take it because of rook over. So let's say queen back. I don't know. Can they not? So this feels like the idea. Bishop e2. Because they can't take it. And they can't go here, or here, or here, or here, or here, or here, or here. They can only move queen back if you go bishop e2. Right? Only one legal move. So that makes me think that that's enough. But how? How? If the queen does go back, where is the continuation? Because the king is wide open in the center. And there's no way to force it. That is forcing. It does force queen b8. But after queen b8, it feels like they've just saved themselves, right? I feel like they've just saved themselves. So I think bishop e2. I'm going to play it probably now, because anything else, like if you move the rook, they can just move their king back. If you move, like if you go rook g6 check, why can't they just go rook f7? Like it, I don't see why I couldn't do that. So let's go bishop here. That is correct. Now I did see this. I don't see how you could win though. Like it. Okay. Okay. So bishop to c4 check. But the king can move anywhere. I don't understand this. Oh my god, it's rook g8. Yes, because the queen can't go forward at all, which we established. So if they take, and then bishop to c4. Wow, yeah, I see it. And now, there is a way to win the queen, I believe. You can go back now. No, you can't. This is crazy. You go bishop here to a6, I think. That's nuts. This is way harder than the 41st hardest puzzle. We've had maiden ones at this point, but bishop a6 is the only move. Because if you go back here, they can go c6, and now the whole diagonal's cut off. But when you go here, they can't move anywhere. Yes, I'm pretty sure this is it. Yes, that's insane. That's gotta be like a 3. That's a 2100 rated puzzle. There's no way. Appreciate that, Eliza. That must be harder. Must be. But we get it correct. Their queen's there on d4. That was a fun puzzle. That was a really fun puzzle. Not the easiest one. And I don't think I'd find that in a game ever, really, if I didn't know it was there. Like, obviously, because this is a puzzle rush. Like, I know there has to be some solution. If you didn't tell me there's a way to win the queen there, or there's a way to do something, don't know if I would have found that. But their queen's on d4. Okay. What can we do here? Taking the queen, that doesn't feel like that's it. Because the rook just takes, and then f7 is still... I mean, it has to be something. We have two pieces aimed here. It would have to be in line with that. But we can't take, because rook takes. Okay, so rook or knight moves. Because the queen can only make two moves that affect the king. Here and here. Here, obviously not, because you lose the queen. And then here, there's just no follow-up, really. So I'm going to take the queen out of it. Here and here now. So rook, we'll do it, I guess, 1, 2, 3. So now rook's turn. A similar thing, the only forcing move is here. But, oh, that is it. Yeah, I think it is it. But we'll go through the knight still. I think it's it because takes, if they go over, this is checkmate. And then takes, if takes here, here, here. And then if here, here, here. I don't even need to check the knight, I guess, because that does work. But let's see. Knight here. No. Knight here. No. Knight here. I think I just lose this because of takes, and then just takes. I think this is it, though. Take here. Check. Take there. And then, well, I guess we'll see. Yes, it is. Okay. And then knight here. And then here. Okay, let's go to 42. Rook F. Okay, Momo had it before me. Let's see. free. Rook x7 90. Okay, I see you, Chris. I see Chris had it there. All right, we're at 42. 41 is still. I'm still stuck on that one. That was a crazy, difficult puzzle, I'd say. Where can it can't be rare if you found that, bro. It's no way. If you find that, cannot be rare. But their king's on d1. If so, that's a crazy one for it to be rare for. That's pretty difficult. Very good spot. But the king's on d1. qh5 check. King slides over. I mean, the knight's free, but is it really just winning the knight? It has to be more complex than that. Maybe it is, because I guess it's not that easy, because you would have to spot rook g8 after queen h8, which might be the point of the puzzle, to play defense. Okay, that's not that unrealistic, especially for 43. It's not supposed to be impossibly hard, just a unique solution. And rook g8 in that position is unique, I would say, because you're giving up the attack. So yeah, I think it's queen h5, okay, queen h5, king c1, or I should draw arrows. Here, over, here, over, take, down, down. Well, they don't even do that. Okay, go to the next one. Their queen slides over here. No idea. I have no idea. Okay. Check. So if you go rook h8, the problem I'm having is if you move your rook down to d1, they could go queen b4, which would stop anything. I don't know why they don't do that on this last move. They go queen. I guess it's a puzzle, but queen f4 doesn't make any sense. But rook h8, I see that if the king... Man, I am really lost on this one. Because there's no way... There's some sacrifice of a rook to win the queen. That part, I'm pretty certain about. Okay, check. Here. And then... Oh, is it just... Is it c5 by itself? But then they can go c3. So probably not. So rook h8. King slides over. f6. ex f6. Rook back over. No, that doesn't do anything. That doesn't do anything. Wow. Every time I do Puzzle Rush, it blows my mind that there's someone, or like a grandmaster, who sees this and instantly sees it. This might take me like 5 minutes. I have no idea. But yeah, the queen's there. So it has to be a rook move. I imagine the king just can't move because it moves into any type of check wherever it goes. So I feel like it's rook h8. It's obvious, but why correct? Or is it to draw the game? But no, if you go rook h8 and then king g4, rook g8, they could go king f3, and it's no longer really a draw. Which is kind of why I think it's rook d1 too. Because rook d1, if the queen goes to h2, you have rook h8. Okay, so if we can get that to work, that's the move. Because that makes more sense if the rook goes down. I'm just missing, if you go rook d1, they go queen b4. I guess you could just slide, though. Oh, yeah, why can't... Yeah, you could slide... What am I talking about? You could just slide over. I'm not even calculating right. Here, here. And there's one more check. And then you go here. And they literally can't move. Yeah. That's so dumb. I saw that at first. I was like, oh, you can't do that because of this. You just slide out the way. Yeah. You can't go here, though. Oh, no, you still can. Because you're trying to... That's the whole point of you're sacking the rook. And then here. Alright, that took me a second, but we get that one eventually. Alright, knight down to d7. What's my rating online? What time control are you asking for, Momo? The knight's back here. And good spot again, Chris. Back-to-back nice spots. Yeah, this one, there's a check. What to do, what to do. If you took the knight, then there's really no follow-up. The only other decision, Elizabeth called it first. Okay. Shout out Eliza there. Queen, I don't see how Queen before does anything. It's just a useless check. Yes, yes. And that took me 5 minutes to realize, yes. That does. Rapid, 2166. It was a useless check that does nothing. It took me way too long to acknowledge that. But I think King F5. Wait, is your name Elizabeth and I've been saying Eliza this whole time? Man. That would be... I'd feel horrible. But yeah, the knight's there on D7. I feel like it has to be King F5 though. It has to be. There's no way it's the other way. There's just no way you move the king up. It has to be king up. King up, they do whatever. Check. Oh, yes, yes, yes. And then here. And then up. And then H5. That's a fun one. Yeah, you need to be here. Okay, that's not what I expected. I expected their knight to move. Now I'm a little confused. I guess it's the same thing, though. It'd be the same thing. Yeah, you go knight down now. Except it's just not with check. Whereas the rook would have slid there first. But knight here. And they can't stop it. And rook here. Oh, this is just checkmate. Why did they not do the... Well, we'll see in a second. I don't get why... The other way lasts a little bit longer, doesn't it? If they instead just move the knight. Oh, it's mate in 2 regardless. So I'd have done it wrong then. Because I did not see mate in 2. If they do this... Why is this checkmate if they go here? Oh, this is just mate. Why did I see king g4? The king can't move there. I said h5 because of this. The king just can't move there. Alright. Let's go to this next one. We're at... And then what's your rapid, Momo? G3 square then. G3. Oh, yeah, the knight there. Alright, go to this next one. We're at 45. Okay. So we have 2 checks, right? 2 checks that are pretty easy to get to. We have bishop here to g4, and then here. Oh, no. It's just... is it made in... See, that's what I'm saying. 41 was so difficult, and this is just made in 1. Like, I don't understand their system's calibration. This doesn't make any sense. This is just checkmate. But look at this. Look at this horrific puzzle we had to solve for, like, here. This is ridiculous. This is, like, 7 moves of, let's see, 1, 2, 3. You have to find 3 kind of ridiculous moves. I mean, this one's not, this is a little bit ridiculous, and that's ridiculous. That's literally made it. I have no idea how they set this up. Man, I love me some lead chess, man. That's all I have to say. That doesn't make any sense. Alright, what's going on, Jazzy? Appreciate those likes. We're closing in on 1.4 thousand. This is just a mate idea. Again, like, very simplistic. You just go in there if they go up, and it's just a forced mate. Let's see. Hit 1200 last week, fell down. Congratulations. You play over the board at all? They are. Sometimes they are, Chris. And then Jazzy. Much appreciated for all the likes there. This is perfectly educational. I know, for someone just getting into chess. This is perfect what we're doing right here. The idea right now, although this is a little bit higher up, but the puzzle concept, you know. Queen here, and boom. I think it's the move. So let's just go for it. Yes. And then you can't take because of this, but you can go here, checkmate instead. Now we have 47. Alright, right here. This is another mate. This is like a mate. There's no... I'm getting trolled. No, maybe not. Okay, it's not that easy. I'll take that back. I'll take that back. So I at first thought knight f6 was an immediate win. It is not. So I'll take back what I just said. This is a difficult one. If the knight goes here, it would be if the king has to go there. That is checkmate. But they could just go over, and then it's like, well, what do you really do? If they're over and you check, they go here, take here, take, no. And then here, no. Here, I don't think makes any sense, right? Because the rook's hanging, at least in this line, the rook gets out the way. So it kind of makes sense. Like here, king up, like you really can't do anything. Like if you take, yeah, they're in check. If they take with the king, I guess they'd have to take with the king. It's almost good though. It's almost good. Because knight d6, it does force king up. Because anything else is completely difficult to play. I guess it's a draw. If you go knight d6, king d8, nx f7, you're equal. But no. No. Okay, so king, knight d6, king d7, rook takes knight, king takes knight. There's no checkmate, so it has to be knight f6. Because in both knight d6 lines, there's a way they could just escape the pressure. But I don't see how knight f6 works though. Because if you go there, I guess that is more forcing. They can only go king f8. And the other line, they have two responses. Both of them don't work, but with puzzle brain, knowing it has to be forced, it's usually forced. So I think knight f6. The problem is after king f8, I really am stumped. I don't know what you would do after king f8, because the rook is so useless, right? The rook can't slide here. So now I'm back to this, because the rook it literally can't give a check. Like after this, and then, oh my god, I'm stupid. Yeah, it's just here, 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 up, and then checkmate. Because this is, I did see that at first. I'll say, I thought that once you got here, they could just take the knight. Which does not make any sense, right? Because the rook's guarding it. But I think that is it. Knight here, over, rook down, up, and then mate. Thankfully, these are not timed puzzles. Okay, here. Yeah, that one is not that difficult. Which I said originally, and then I thought it was. And I eventually got it there. Alright. The king slides over here. Definitely knight f6. Yeah, rook g8 at the end of the line. Yeah, good eye. I missed the rook g8 for some time. Here, it looks like you just do this initially. But you can't. You have to instead go here. Because if you do it this way, it doesn't work. They can take that. And then, if you take, they have checkmate. But if you go here instead, check. If they take, you're taking here with check. I guess that's not even, it's not even winning though. I don't know, that might not even be winning. I'm trying to win the queen, but if you played an endgame with like this, okay, here, 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 here. Yeah, no, then you could go here. Yes, that is winning. I was like, two rooks, that's really not that good, but it's queen e5, and now you win this one. Okay, I knew if they keep both, it's really not even worth doing there. Are there bishops here on b4? This one is not obvious to me. If you take, well, let's look at the facts here. We have, what'd you say, Eliza? We have this is not what that is not doing that. This is guarding this. The rook does not move that way. But here this is protected. Queen down is my first thought, but a lot of reasons it doesn't work. The main reason is this. So then my second thought is to take, because you wouldn't go up because of that, or like just for a multitude of reasons you would just take back. What I don't get though is why. Oh no, they can't. They can't. Yeah, that is mates. If you just take the rook. And the difference is, yes, it is forced. Because you take the rook, they go here. Here threatens mate in 1. If they go down, you give a check. And then they go up, and then you get check, and then up, and then... Oh, you can't go there because of the queen, though. Huh. So maybe it's not that. So take here, here. That threatens mate, and then they can't go down. That they would go down though. And then you check. And the king slides. Oh no, that's checkmate. Oh no, they literally can't do that. Yeah, they can't go rook down. They have to go. Yeah. I see it now. I was like, if they do that, but they can't because it's forced mate that way. And you go queen here to a7. Because you're setting up the mate. And if they went down here, it doesn't work. I just had it. I lost it though. But they can't go there. I just calculated that. But I lost why they can't do that. Well, let's see if I'm right. No, I'm wrong. So you can't go queen a7. What? I did not see that. Huh. Well, I thought it was more complex than that. It was quite, I guess it wasn't simplistic, but I didn't even show that all the way. Yeah, so instead of what I did, you're supposed to take this check, take. Why can't they save this? Can they not save that? And then this is winning apparently. That's a little difficult, honestly. I don't know if because you're supposed to go to an endgame down a piece, essentially. Yeah, I mean, definitely findable on the more difficult side, but it is the 50th puzzle, so it should be kind of difficult. So, can't complain too much there. Let's see, can we get 51? I mean, we'd be getting 50, but the 51st puzzle, because we have one incorrect. The bishop's on d3. If I go f5, I don't feel that's accurate. But remember, we're up in exchange already. So f5 could be it. King down. I don't really like king down because after queen h5, I don't know how I would do anything. But f5, it's not perfect itself, but it feels better. It does feel better. And because of that, we're going off of vibes a little bit here. The problem is if you go, they could still go queen h5, which is my issue with this. King h8. That's my first thought too. That it's just like if you go king h, I guess that's everyone's first thought because that's the only place the king can go. But the king h8 after queen f5 h5, I don't see it. I don't see it. They're back. Oh, I could go queen e5 at the end of that. Yeah, you could go back. And then... F5? No, I think you're right. I think H8 is right. Because F5, which is my second thought that I was more confident in, I think it runs into... like everything. I think they could go G4 or Queen H5. I think King H8, they could... they could double check though. I honestly don't know. I'm gonna have to guess. Because they both seem like they would work. But obviously they both don't work. Oh, John, appreciate the subscription there on YouTube. Just saw that. But yeah, they both don't work. Alright, I was eeny, meeny, miny, mo, kind of. But there has to be an obvious difference, though. So if we go f5, they slide the queen over. I guess you would be able to go queen g6. And that could be the difference. But king h8, I can't tell the difference. I'm going to try this. I don't see any difference. Yeah, here, maybe it's because of this, which doesn't look normal, but works. Or is it because of bishop f6? I mean, either way. So either bishop f6 or queen g6. I feel like bishop f6 just makes more sense. Because then the queen has to go away. And then you can go bishop g5. And then if they take on f4, you take. Okay. And now, do I go queen g6? Because if here, if take, then take. But is that even winning? Like, I don't know how that'd be winning. Like, you're down a lot. If you go king h8 now, I guess the pawn still falls. So either way, you're losing the pawn. So I guess here then is better if you have to lose it regardless. And then you take here. Alright. Let's see why king h8 doesn't work, though. Very high level. You're saying, wait, if h8 then queen h5, you can't escape discovery check without... Alright, I want to see that. Because this is a draw, actually. Or no. It says it's +1 for white. Here, qh4. Now f5. Check. King g8. Check. It's just a... This is a crazy draw. This is a crazy draw. I'm supposed to sack the... Oh, yeah, if they take, then you take the bishop. Yes. Very... Queen h5? Okay, queen h5. Let's see. King h8. Oops. Okay, here. King h8. Queen h5. f5 now. And then they go in. And it's saying you could play d5. It's just not a win, apparently. I don't know how this is not winning. I don't think I'd hold this against anyone. I feel like I'd lose. It says 1.2, but that means you can still defend it, kind of. Like, I could not defend that. There's no way. But they go up here to d6 in this one. So, immediately, my eyes go to the idea we can go rook h8 and the idea we can go queen c6. Now, both of them, and the knight's hanging too. I think it's just rook down, though. Because rook down, king up, you take the queen. If they take your queen, you take their rook. And then, I like the idea of queen c6, but your knight's also hanging. So, is it really? Yeah, I just want to go here. And then take. Is there a checkmate, though? Because there's a checkmate. That's the only thing that supersedes it. Other than that, it should just be take the queen. Let's see. No, I don't see a mate. Because the bishop can't do nothing. The knight can't even give a check. The queen can only check by sacking itself. So we're going to take the queen here. Yes. And then win the rook here. Alright, at 51. We see their rooks there in the corner. Appreciate that. Life is great. Appreciate that. Yeah, it was... Can't believe it says 1,000. 1,025 last time I checked. Like, that is insane, man. Very grateful. But yeah, their rook's there on h8. Knight to g5 check. The issue is they have a checkmate, which is knight g3. So you have to check. So it has to be knight g5 first. I just don't see what you do after. Or do you sack the knight and then go... But even then, the bishop is too good. Like, if you try to go, I guess, like, rook e1, they could still go knight g3. You can only take, and then rook captures as checkmate. Oh, do you just go knight g5, knight h6? Or knight h3. I mean here, and then here. Because nothing else... That might just be it. Nothing else works. I think it's mate any other way. Okay. Yeah, that should work. Because if they take, pawn takes, rook takes, and then king g2, I was worried about knight g3, but they just can't do that. So I think you just have to go knight back. I think so. I think so. I think so. Take. Yeah. Take here. I already got that one correct. Take e6, pawn g3, g3. Oh, I'll show. Okay, I can show why g3 doesn't quite work. But the idea, you're right. There's just one, or not right, but like I see what you're seeing. But there's one reason it doesn't work. If you are correct that this is guarded, so you're not going back to guard the knight. Like maybe that's how I conveyed it. That's my fault. Is you're trying to save it. I think that's my first thought too. But I realized that if you are to go up, they can take here, and they have this idea right. And if you move, they could take. And this is not even losing. The main issue is this is so weak. So this is the best move. But now they have a rook here, and you're up material still, but this is, how do you guard this ever? Like, you're never going to guard this, which is why it's plus 1.1. I think this is basically winning, though. Like, there's no way to ever get the king active. The knight is useless. Like, it's literally just sitting here. Maybe you have to just, yeah, you just have to take on e6. Because if you don't take on e6, you're probably really losing. Like, if you go here, yeah, it goes to -4. That's the difference. Yeah, you have to take. Because the knight, not exaggerating, can't make a legal move that doesn't lose. So you have to get rid of it for the light square bishop. Which I guess that's not completely won. If you were to play like a bullet game or something, but definitely better for one side. Alright, and this one, well, the idea is simple. I don't know if it's right. I'm pretty sure you can just go queen, g2, and just like zigzag. But I would imagine it's not that easy. I'm sure if it were that simple, it wouldn't be the 54th puzzle that they have here. So queen g2 check. Oh, I get it. It's not because you zigzag. It's after king c1, you go bishop g5. And if they went knight d2, you take checkmate. So they would have to go king d1, but then queen f1 would be checkmate. Almost. Because then they could go back to c2. Oh, but no, they could get out the way. I don't see how this one's mate. Because if the bishop's gone and they got back to b2, guess you'd have to stop that though. So queen g2, king c1. Oh no, yeah, then you go bishop g5. They'd slide over. And you can't checkmate. You could win the rook though, but that's probably not it. Let's see if this is the first move. That is the first move. Now the second move I was saying is bishop g5. This bishop moving here. If they go over, you can't slide over checkmate because of the knight, right? So I'm thinking if you go here, here. Oh, but no, but even this doesn't work though, because then they get in. You have to keep the queen on the second rank. So check. They move. Okay. After that, I am confused. Because if you take on f3, oh no, you can. Because I'm thinking they can get away. But if you give this check first, over there, 2 squares away. Or they're square away from being on b2, which is 2 squares away from being here. Which would be safe. But if you give a check this side, you check, they go up. So here, here, here. They wouldn't go over, I don't think. I think that is a mate. So they would have to go back. And then down. And then here. And then take. And then back and then mate. Okay. And this is the part that I'm the least sure about. Because I knew they were going to go up there to f4. Was not in my calculation. Okay. So then it would, I guess it would still be queen f1. Because check up, check. Yeah, this is the whole point. I need the queen on e2 and the king here. So however I do it, it doesn't really matter. Whether the if I were to take the pawn and do it or do this way. Check, up, check. You just can't let them get here. And if you go here, here's actually safe. Somehow they're not losing if you do that. I think it's queen f1, yeah. And then You can't go here because the king like zigzags away and the queen is guarding the c file. But here it just stops them in time, I think. And you take and then back and then checkmate. Alright, that's a cool one. Let's go to this next one here. We're at 53. Better than the last run. The last run we stopped at 50. So, we did improve 2 to 3. Can we get to 54? 100% queen f1, yeah. I want to show the other one. Why I didn't think it worked. To get to q2, yes, squid. Yeah. qf1. You guys are definitely on queen f1. Yeah, queen f1. So I was considering this. It just doesn't work. Like, yeah, they go here. There's no way to mate. You check and then over. If you could mate, if they're... Let me just set up a position. If you could take and then... I don't know. Like, here. Oh, this is still a draw? Really? Oh, no, and then I was back here. And then they go back. Okay, yeah, it is a mate if the pawn's not there. Alright, I thought it was, but the pawn being there ruins it. Here. No, it's not a mate over this way. Oh, because they can just go here. I see. Alright, go to this next one. Alright, the bishop's there on e6. Where can we go? What if instead it checks, you just go queen e2 immediately? Oh, let's see. I think the problem with queen e2 immediately is you have to check. Or you can't even go there immediately. Oh, you mean here, maybe. Here, I think you have to check them. Yeah, queen c4. And then here, I'm guessing they can just block somehow. Yeah, here. Because the queen's guarding this now. Which is the difference, which is why you can't do it. That was a good question, though. Because I think when you're down, you just have to check. Like, it has to be... I think that's the point. Like, when you're down, it has to be forcing is the word. Because all of this is forcing. If you see that's a check. Okay. Force check. Force check. Force check. Force check. Force check. Because you're down the rook. So if you don't force it, you give them 1 second to, like, get back on balance. You are minus 5 points of material. Actually, 7 points of material. So that's why you have to do that there. Alright, let's see. Yeah, that's me as well. As you see, I check pretty much every time. If I get it right, just why the other one doesn't work is interesting to see. Because it's really intricate. Like, it's not always the reason I would have assumed. But yeah, bishop there on e6. I think queen f6. I guess you could take on... I just don't know how you'd win. Like, if you took on g3, I see how you'd win if they took the knight. Because you'd sack the rook, and they take, and then queen h1 and king over and queen h2. That is checkmate. I just don't get how you would win. I guess that's probably it, though. Because you could take on f2. I guess either way you're getting something. Because if they just take the rook, you just take. And then take it and take. That feels like that's not... That's really simple if you just do that, though. So I feel like I'm under... That's not a phrase. Undercomplicating it. There's gotta be a different way to say that. But I'm not thinking it through enough. Because I just think you take the bishop. But it's no way on 55 it's taking the bishop. Like, it's just not... I don't believe that's the puzzle. This is a 2800 rated puzzle. So it must be more complex than I'm missing it. Because if you take here, you can sack the rook, and then they have to go over. Or no, you would check, and they have to go over, and then check here. And that's checkmate because of the pawn there. And then if takes, you're up. Takes, you're down the exchange. Takes, check. Take, check. I mean, I don't see anything else. If this isn't it, I would be quite annoyed. Really? Okay, they drop back. But now you can just take it, though. And then if rook comes up, you take... Queen takes. And then I guess just king go. Does it matter if you take with the pawn or the bishop first? I don't know if it does. It definitely matters. Because again, it wouldn't be a part of the puzzle. Oh, I get it. It's because you could... Ah, that is kind of cool. It's not because... So you can't take with the bishop. You take with the pawn. Rook comes up. What I missed, I think, is queen here, up. No. They're... Okay, I think it's this. I think... It's my final guess. Yes. Now, the question is, do you go rook here and then take it? Because if you took with the bishop, you can't load up. I was saying queen f6 first, but I don't think that works. Right, because then they could go over. But rook here, now you're going to do it. And it's completely free as the queen's the only defender. Yes, here. Okay, why does it matter what you take it with? Why does it matter? Why does it matter? Huh. I don't know. I don't know what the difference is. If you take with the rook or the bishop. Maybe they have b4, c3 if you take with the rook. This is not really a guess. I'm not super confident, but I'm pretty sure it's this way. Yeah, because if you take with the rook, they can remove the defender, I think, which would be the problem. That way. Okay, let's show that real quick. This is not the analysis bar. Okay, now we can show it. If you take with the rook, I think they have b4 and c3. Now, this is still winning, apparently, but it is a miss. What if they go here? Then you go queen f6. And then take. You're just up the oh, no, you can't take that way. And then rook f8. And then here, queen captures. And you're just winning in the endgame. And then taking with the bishop is not good. I did it because it generally is better to take with the piece here up. Like the lower quality piece. Take. Queen takes. Yeah, this is... I also saw this. Because I'm like, if you go here, they can just go queen... Yeah. I saw queen f7. I was like, after this, like, what do you do? It doesn't feel that good. Alright, let's go to this next one. We're at 54. Alright, they went up here to h6. Queen e8. Queen e8 is the first thought there. They can move their king to h7. But after king h7, I'm not sure what could really be done. Because if you take... Oh, they don't have a check. Wow. They can't actually check you, which could be why that works. Sacking the bishop also is kind of an option, because they can't take it, so they would have to go king h7. That's crazy. I think it is sack the bishop. Because you take... They can't take back right. Oh, they can. Here. No, they can't take it back, no. So that's not it. So it is queen down then. And then king up. And then bishop captures. They have no check, despite the king being so weak. And they can't get out of mate. Yeah, I think it's queen here. And then bishop takes. Bishop takes on f7. This is mate on the next turn. Whatever happens, and there's no check. So you capture, and then you have to sack the queen. Let's go to this next one here. Queen x f7, let's see. And then pin the pawn to the king, maybe, and threaten to promote. I think the problem with taking here... What is the problem? I guess it's not bad. I'm just saying it's a draw. I think it's not a problem. There's just no way to continue the attack there. And then, what else did you say? Oh, you said queen x f7. So you saw that. Okay. Let's go to this next one. We got to 54, I think, right? Oh, I see. But yeah, we're at... Oh, we got 55. Okay, we've tied our best for the day so far. So far, we've tied our best. Can we surpass it? This feels like a pretty easy puzzle. I think this is... They can't stop checkmate. Like, it's impossible. And there's no way to win. Really? That seems comically easy for 57. This is just mate. And whatever... Like, it doesn't matter what happens here. Maybe what I'm missing is that after here, they can sack. And then if take... Okay, here, sacrifice. King takes, queen check. King over. Queen check. King up. Pawn takes check. Okay, maybe it's a little more difficult. I still think this is it. There's no way it's not that because of rook captures. Maybe it could be king c1 takes king captures. There's no check after that. Here, yeah, I think if you take it doesn't work. So I think you have to go here instead. Because here, check. Down, check. Here, check. Over, check. Here, check. Down, check. They could check you. I guess they can't go down. Can you just take this? Maybe you can. No, that's what I'm saying. Oh, here, and they take here. That's the issue, right? Wait, no, it's not, because we go king here then. Okay. Okay. This being the hard part of the puzzle is throwing me. But if king takes on b2, dx c3 check, king a1, you're safe. So king x b2, queen x c3 check. King. Okay, I don't know if I love that. But I guess king c1 also doesn't work. I feel like that works more though. If you go king c1, they could only take on c2 and then king x c2 and then there's no more check. Oh no, what am I talking about? Then queen captures c3. Yes, so no, you cannot do that. No, yeah, you can't. You have to take the rook. Because if you go king c1, rook takes, king takes, qx c3, king back, then there's a repetition, I think. So take rook, queen takes, king down, queen b3. I think you have to take the rook. No, 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 no. I was right. Is it king a1? Yes, it's king a1. You can't go king c1 though. It's king a1. Ah, tough, 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 tough. The wrong one. Got the wrong one there. Yo, we had 1,030 subscribers. Appreciate that, John. Much appreciated. That is a tough one to get wrong. So easy, so easy. Or so easy in theory. Obviously, I didn't get it right. So it's not that easy, but it looked so easy. The knight goes back to f8. All right, 2 incorrect. We can go on a streak. You know, it's not impossible. Never impossible. Let's see if we can get this one here. Oh, wait, no. Not John. Did I say John? No. The knight's there on f8. What can we do? If you take on f7, I've lost. I don't see this. If you take on h6, there's nothing. You definitely can't sack on h7. There are 3 pieces they have that guard that. g4 feels too slow, and like that would not be a puzzle answer. But I don't know. I don't know what the puzzle answer is for this one. See, this is why you need to get the last one right. That last one was findable. It was not impossible. This one feels borderline impossible. Like, I don't know. There's no obvious. There you have 4 pieces. You have every piece remaining. Literally, every piece is remaining. So many options to pick from besides turning a mate in 1 and the last puzzle. So let's go piece by piece. When I'm confused, I'll do it like that. Where can the queen go? Queen g4, no. Queen f3, no. qe2, no. qd2, no. So that tells me it is probably not the queen, as it can't make any progression or progress that makes sense for the position. Now, I'm looking at g4. My issue is knight 6, h7. I don't see how you would do anything after that. Like, you could take, then the knight could take, and the attack is done. So I imagine it's either the knight on e5 or the bishop on f4. If you sack the bishop, on h6. It's another one of those things, like, how do you win it, though? Like, yeah, it looks cool to sacrifice, but how would you win the game doing that? Taking on an f7, another move that's like, well, why would you not play that? If the king takes bishop in, they could just go king back. Yeah, honestly, I may get 2 wrong in a row. Where could we possibly go? Knight taking, king takes, and you can't go bishop in because the knight's guarding g6. The knight is a superstar. It's playing perfect defense here. Knight back. I feel like you'd have to sack. Like, there's no other way. Like, rook g4 is just too slow. It doesn't work. And then rook, maybe rook h3? Rook h3, and you set up rook g3. That's all I got. That's all I got here. Because if you take the pawn on f7 now, the king just takes. Alright, let's see if it's right. I don't think so, but yeah, what is it? We get to 55. Queen f3. Oh, okay. So it's the same idea as to get a lateral or a piece that can attack the king this way on g3. I just choose the wrong one. My move doesn't work. No, my move is the second best move. No, you're still winning with this, but it's not as winning. So we get it incorrect. All right, well, we are going to try again. We got to 55, 50, and 55. I mean, that's not. I mean, it's not bad. It's definitely not bad, but I do want to get to 63. That's the goal. So that's the hope here. Give me 1 second, and we'll get right back to it. 1 sec. All right. So checkmate in 1. Rook captures h7. We're 1 for 1. This is where you want to start off at. Right now, we're not up or down anything. This is free. This is just free. Yeah, we have the first 2. Rook down, checkmate. Rook down, checkmate in 2. Rook here, mate. Down? Yeah, because the queen goes down and you take there on b2. This is mate in 1 here. On e7. Yes. Checkmate. Queen's going to take here. Oh, we lost. Dang, we lost the sub. We lost the sub. We were at 1,030. It's gone away. But here we're going to go down. Checkmate on f8. Check. And then you're going to win the knight in the center, I think. Right, because they can't guard that. So queen's going to capture. Perfect. Knight here, I almost feel like is it. But not quite. It's something. Oh, it is knight here. Yeah. And then you take the queen. Okay. The king's going to slide over. This is mate in 2. Oh, you can't do that. Mate in 3. Knight here and then rook down. Checkmate. Here. Check. Checkmate on the back rank. Take. What is happening? Take here. They go over. This is mate here on h2. And obviously the first couple are not as entertaining. We're going to go now. We got the first 15. Okay. Here we go. Up here is mate in 1. Perfect. This is mate in 1 as well. On b4, the king can't go anywhere. Get the bishop activated. Checkmate here on f2. There should be a mate in. Oh, that's checkmate. Yeah, not mate in. That is mate. The rook's going to slide down. I see it. And then it's discovered check. And you win the queen here on e2. Are the pawns going to go down? Okay, rook down here to d8. I don't see this one. Rook over definitely is not it. Because if you go rook down, or rook here, they go down, take, check, up. Can they not? Yeah, how would you force that? I don't know how you could force this to be a win. I would just try and draw this game, honestly. And apparently there's a winning... I may get 21 wrong. Rook d8. E1 queen. You take... They take back with check. And then king comes forward. Oh, I get it. I get it. Yeah, you can't go rook d8. Because you take... And then here... What I missed was this. So they can't... I was saying rook c1, but you take check and then you promote. That's kind of messed up. You think black would be winning. I'd be upset if I was black in that game. We're going to take this rook down and then checkmate here on e8. Perfect. And this is also a mate because of the opposition-esque position. Queen is going to take this and then take the queen if it moves. So you go up and then you take it with check. And then take the rook here on d6. Alright, bishop here on d2. I like queen to g3, setting up that mate idea. We have the black pieces here. I think if you just go knight b7, you slow them up enough. So knight b7, king c7, pawn up, king captures b7, pawn up, king moves, queen, pawn down. They're too slow. Here, and you stop them just enough to beat them by one move in the promotion. King over here, b5. Okay, b5, king here at f4. You go up again, takes, up again, takes, and you push. So b5, and then b4. Now the difference is if you push this way, captures, up, 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 they catch you. If you go here, they're too far away from the A pawn here. You get the queen before they can get their queen in. Alright, in this game, their queen's here on b2. What can we do to finish this one out? Going up, you lose the bishop. Taking this does look free, but they capture that. So I don't know if that's it. Here, take. And you can't go knight there. I don't know about this one. You can't go knight here because you're attacking the queen, but they can get out the way with back. And if you went up, they could drop back again. So that makes me not think it's that. But yeah, capture, queen takes. You're down. And then if you went knight here, if the rook was there, it'd be almost a trap. But they could just take the queen. There's no check. Take, take. This is a... Wow. This is 29. I guess this is not a super easy spot. But it should be automatic if I want to get to 60. It must be that you can take this somehow. And I'm not seeing it. Take, take. If you go up, they just capture. It must be take. Maybe capture queen in? But that's really... Yeah, that's it? You just have to take the bishop? I could have done that at like 10 seconds ago. Alright, if they capture... And then you go... Yeah, you're setting up the queen trap. Yes, that's what it is. Knight a3. Okay. I would have went queen here. Does this still win? This is what I saw. Yes, it's still winning. I didn't see queen d2. I saw queen b3. Let's go to this next one. We are at 29 here. We need to get to a lot more than this. This is mate in 1. We're at 30. Let's see. The bishop goes here to g2. There should be a double check checkmate. So knight here to f3. Double check. They slide over and then rook down. So an easier one. Their pawn lifts up. Queen here. I haven't got this one in a while. It's almost like a free square and puzzle rush for me. I've seen it so much. That and the queen captures f2, king over, q f1, takes, rook takes. But yeah, rook can slide down. That's not mate. Because they go up. This is still probably the idea. You give a check, they move. No. Because they just move up. And how do they not... How's that not okay? You can't take on f6. Check, king moves. Sliding over the other rook to d5. That doesn't feel like that's it either. They don't have anything hanging. You're guarding this escape square right now. That's the one thing. So you know this is a forcing idea. The king has to go in. But then that rook is hanging. There's no checks to be delivered. And how do you justify... Oh, then you could go rook here. I get it. You're threatening winning that bishop, and you're threatening mate with like a check and up, and then check. I think that's why it works. And then here you're attacking, but then knight here also threatens checkmate, and then check. You can just slide up and then get there eventually. And now this is checkmate. Knight here g7. They can't move anywhere. Oh, whoa, not checkmate yet. You have to check, and then you go here, and then you go there. The order matters. Here, and then checkmate. Okay. I want to see, why could they not... There's one other move I saw. I'm confused why they can't do that instead. Yeah, so if they do check, and then you go up, and then they check, and then you go here, and then they check, and then here. Can they not get out of it? Will they move their rook? Oh, I guess that's the thing. If they get out of this, then you lose the bishop. Yeah, okay. We go to this next game, next puzzle. We're at 31, I think that was. 33. So we're 33, more than halfway to 65. So we have to do less puzzles than we've done so far. However, much more difficult. So not perfect. We're in check. I feel like you can only take this, it feels like. Take back, rook down. Because if you go rook down, right, they can take the queen. And if you go here, this is a free rook. I guess this, no. You go here, they take your queen, you take their queen, they take your rook. I think you have to capture it. Yeah. And then you can only legally go rook here to d8, because the king can't move anywhere else, so you know it's that. And now you move the queen out the way of the knight attacking it. Queen back. It's just a defensive puzzle. I ended up getting to 55. I did not set a new record. I got 2 wrong in a row. One of them was easy, and one of them was very difficult. And I got them both wrong. If I got the easy one right, I could have, but unfortunately, I was not locked in. Here we're at 34 though. On a good start. We have 2 checks that are options here. Either queen d2 or rook captures h3. I don't see how either of them works though. These are the only checks, but neither of them seem like they would give you checkmate. If you go here, they could go up. Oh, I guess takes, and then takes. But then you just get 2 rooks for a queen. But if you do this and they go up, how do you win it? Like if you take here, there's no checkmate. There's no mate. What is this noise? But yeah, there's no mate. Queen d7, king up, rook takes, threatening the mate. But that also doesn't work though. But one of the moves works. No other move is really even in consideration. And if you went here instantly, that makes no sense. So take, if they take back, you have checkmate. But they don't have to take back though. If they go up, what happens? Could you sack this one? But then here, no, it's probably this. So check, up. Oh, you take, and then you take that. Yeah, I think it's here. No, is it the other? How is it the other one? Okay, you take. Oh, it's the same thing. I just realized you could take the pawn, except you do it better this way. Okay. Ah, I see. Let's go to this next one here. Getting one wrong at 35 will be very detrimental to trying to get to 60. So I have a decision. Do I restart or do I go from here? Alright, we'll just try. We'll try. The queen's there on h2. Queen sliding in to c8. King up. Honestly, queen c8. Does that even work? Oh, you have bishop b4. So this doesn't even work, but you have this check. I was like, I don't see how you can mate them. But you don't need to with the queen. Alright, here. We can go for this opposition, and this is forced after. They can't stop it. Rook here to h1 checkmate. Perfect. My best run I lost in the 30s. You're saying your best one's in the 30s? Are you? Am I? My best run I lost in the 30s once, I think. What'd you get to? And their king's over. Up here to a5. They go back, up, down, up, down. You promote. Oh, yeah, that's why I was confused. I'm like, I know you said you had 50 one time. So I was making sure I did not read that correctly. That makes way more sense than then. Yeah, king's here. King f1. I think one of my best runs I did lose early as well. I will say I cannot rely on that. But you go here. I think, because you can go there, check. And then take this here. And you're attacking the rook there at the end. And a knight's going to slide. Rook down. No, wait, no. Check over. Check, knight down. Well, neither of these feel like the right answer. They both have something that makes it not that good. I guess you could go, if you go rook c2, king over, you could go king d2 and set up rook. And then if they go knight e4, they could always check you. I don't get how that would work. But the other way, definitely. If you go rook g1, knight d1, you literally can't. Yeah, it has to be this. What? It's rook. Okay. How? Oh, king e2. Yes. King e2 would be the solution there. Alright, we're getting cooked by the 30s in this one. They go up here to e5. Okay. We have to lock in here. We have to go undefeated from this point on. They're up here on e5. Knight, I guess. No, the knight can't go there. All of a sudden, my powers have left me. I'm so confused. Bishop in doesn't make sense because knight takes, knight takes. That doesn't work. You can't sack the queen. Bishop d5 attacking queen. Knight in attacking the bishop. If the knight takes, bishop takes. Oh, it is. It's knight in. It's knight in. Because you go here attacking the queen and threatening that move, so you take the bishop at the end. Alright, I'm going to take there on c5. I would assume there's a checkmate somewhere. Ah, I see it. It's h5, rook h8, and you take. And it was queen there at the end. I'll show why I had to do that. Let's see. So here, if they instead... Wait, that's not a legal move, actually. They can only have to do that. Not even instead. They have to do that. And then over. Oh, no, I can't go back. It's queen here to h3. Yes, and that's mate, which is why they have to sack the queen, which is still mate as you saw. It will be here. And this is checkmate still. And a move over and then here. I go to this next puzzle. We have 2 incorrect since getting that one wrong. Alright, the idea... I think is rook captures h6. Well, okay, if rook captures h6, the king slides over. And then queen g5. Yes. No, but then the bishop can go back to g7. So that is probably not it. Queen takes on h6. King slides over. It's something to do with h6. Something's telling me h6 is involved. Whichever piece it is, I don't know. But h6 has to be there. Queen takes... I like more because you could go queen to h7 after. But then it's like after king to f8. I don't see how you continue that. If the rook takes and then king over and then queen in and then bishop down. I mean, really, there's no way to go after that. But we're gonna have to make a choice. We're gonna make a choice. And I think I'll go for queen. Yeah, because I don't see rook. Did I miss something? What you mean? Yeah, queen here. And then we could go check. Miss something? Yeah, I am missing move 2. Oh, this does... What am I talking about? This does work. Because they go... Oh, my God. Yeah. They can't move the bishop back. That's checkmate. Alright, they move their king in. This is the same puzzle as last time, I think. Where you just go here. And then up. And then up. And they're too slow to catch up to you. We did the exact same puzzle, I think, in the same run. We've done that already. But yeah, we can go g5. Or you could just take the bishop. Yeah, you could just take the bishop. And go up some material. Here. And take queen. And you're up. We're at 43. Alright, rook slides over. Check. Okay, no. Oh, I see it. Because I'm like, if you go here, how could you possibly win it? It's because of here, here, and then down. I was very confused. I'm like, there's no way you can do it. Like, if they go up, what can you do? But here instead, and then checkmate. Look at this next one. They push their pawn forward here. I mean, I feel like you could just put... Yeah. I think you could just push this. Yeah. And then... Okay. I am a little confused. Oh, I get it. So you take the rook on a2, rook takes on h2, rook b2, king g3, rook x h2, king x h2. But then, oh, fx g4, f5, king c4, f6, king d5, f7. Now, you're too slow if you do it that way. So how could you do it then? If you got the queen now... No, it must be like... I'm missing something in it. So king captures a2, rook h2, rook b2, king g3, rook x a2, king c4, g5, king d5, g6, king e6, g7. You're too slow. So do you just take on a2, rook takes, rook b2? Oh, your king's out the way. Oh, you take the rook, king takes, and then you go. Yeah, you're just faster. I get it. You're just faster than they are. Because the king's here, so you just push the pawn up. And you get the queen, and they're too slow. Alright, you have the white pieces in this one. Oh, I think it's here. Because their pawns are going this way. So here, if they take, this is still checkmate, right? And they can't, there's no way out of that. That's insane. Yeah, that's forced mate, and this is mate here. Alright, at 46. I know this next one. The king, is that for the Falkbear counter gambit? Is that your username? Or it just happens to be chess related accidentally? But their knight's here. We can give a check. They go over, double check, over checkmate. That feels like that's it. Oh, it's not double check. Well, I guess we'll have to do some rethinking there. Although this is still... Oh, yeah, they take the queen if you don't move the queen out the way. So you sacrifice. The king slides over. Oh, knight takes. Check. They go and then rook over. Yeah, that's beautiful. And you can't go here, right? But you can go here, check, and then bring the rook over. I'll show that real quick. Because that's honestly pretty cool. You can't move rook here. This doesn't work. Rook h8, you lose. There's ways to stop this. You're down too much. But given this check first, They have to take, and then rook here, knight over, rook captures, checkmate. Ah, really? Okay. Did not know that. Did not know that. Although this next game, do you play that opening at all? Yeah, the queen's here on a7. Queen check on b1. They move. Honestly, you could just go there. Because they're too slow to stop your mate. Yeah, they're too slow. You don't have to go for this. Or you don't have to go for this and then takes and then takes and then up. You can just cement it. They can't stop it. It's not possible. It's no checks. So knight here, you just take everything on the back rank. The queenside castle. Okay, so right here you see there's an attack, right? If they take here, oh yeah. How would you, so do you go here then? Is it here or here? I guess with here, they could just take, and if you took, so then this, check, take, 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 take. At the end of it, you win the knight. So I think it is this. Yeah. This is exactly what happened. Okay, this is pretty cool. This is exactly what is happening. I think this is what I calculated. You capture here. And then you take here. This is exactly what happens. I called the exact line. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Yeah, that was a fun one. Transpose from the Vienna game. Ah, really? Did not, you, from the Vienna? Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Alright. But their knight's there on e4. There's a free knight on f3. And we equalize if we take that. Queen captures f3. Okay. I think it works. Because after that, you could play... If they go... Okay. If they go king to f1, you can play queen f1, right? They lose the rook. So they wouldn't play that. They would play king g1. But then you could go rook f5. Alright, we're going to go for this. Yes, and they go there because qf-h1 is too much of a threat. But now, rook f5, queen d8, bishop f8. No. No, no, no. Okay, rook f5, queen d8, bishop f8. I think this is it. I think this is it. Yeah. Let's go for it. Yes. And now back here. Yep, perfect. I'll show that. There was one thing I wasn't certain about. So here, here. What if they go here now? Oh, they could take this. Oh, yeah, I could take that. And then that's checkmate. Okay. That's why the knight can't move. Because it's guarding on f2 as well. Alright, we're sitting at 50. Honestly? Hey, if we're getting too wrong in the 30s, we went perfect in the 40s. We went perfect in what's supposed to be a harder section of puzzles. But we get it. Their bishop's here on c5. Okay. Okay, okay. Rook takes. I don't think that's it. Taking on d3. It looks good. I guess why not? I guess why not? You'd be up material, but your pieces are so misplaced. But honestly, the bigger issue, they have this mate threat. I guess you can take that. Yeah. And then take that. They're threatening this mate idea. Can I move my queen back and then go d4? Because if you go over, then rook over. So here, that is correct. And they set up another mate threat. But then g3. And we defend it. Alright. We play defense. We're able to hold off that attack. Let's go to this next one. They go pawn here to h3. Alright. this one should be some type of odd-looking checkmate. Okay, rook captures e7, king g6. Oh, it's this way then. Yeah, it's this way. Check, up, check, over. But how do you stop the mate then? So if you take this way, can you still can't stop the mate. So you take, they move their king. You go up, they go over. How do you stop h2 though? H2 is on the way. So you have to stop, somehow it has to be a mate, because you have to stop h2. I guess here, so they go here, you have rook over. But you have that both ways though. Here, up, check. Oh no, you don't. I get it. Because if you take this way, up, check. Oh, then they could go up though. So it's this way. So check, up, check, over, check, over. Yeah, I think I see it. So it has to be this way. Because either way, they lose the rook. So you take with the e rook. The king comes up. You give this check. If they go over, you have that. If they go over, you have that. But if you go this check, they go up. You go down, they go up. They don't lose the rook. Yes. And then here. And then here. Okay, I'll show that real quick. The difference between the two. Now this way we saw it wins it. If you take this, the king is free after f6. And then you give this check, just up. There's no rook fork. Now the other thing is, if you take here, here, and then they go up, you have this check. They go here, you have bishop f4. And then if they go instead, I guess that's the only thing they could do. Yeah, that's it. I guess here, and you check again, and then now you have bishop f4 over rook here, checkmate, I think. Yeah. All right, this next one. We're at 52. All right, their king, or not king, their queen's on b2. So rook b1 is where I'm first considering. Now, the knight would fall if you were to do it that way. So maybe not that. Maybe not that. Knight to b5, I also considered, but again, a free piece, so I'm not going to do that. Doesn't make any sense. Knight to e2, no. Queen, the queen has to have some space. Wow, this is something. Knight f5, but the knight on c3 is hanging. That's the problem. You can't take the bishop because of the pin. There's no way to get out of it. Knight back, they move. So what is a forcing decision? What will be forcing for them? If we move the knight out the way, they could go queen b5. Okay. We could go knight a4. That's what I was thinking. Knight a4. I'm just like, after knight a4 and qb5, I don't. That's because like it has to be a queen trap, I think, which is why I agree with knight a4. I just don't know. After queen b5, I don't. Because if you go rook b1, they take. If you go back, they go back. And there's no, like, where can you follow? Because I looked at knight c5. But, like, if you go knight c5, then there's no attack, really, you know? Maybe you could do that and then rook over, but they could have played b6 after. So, like, knight a4, qb5, knight c5, b6. And then I don't know if it works the same way. Rook, man. I guess this is supposed to be the hardest. This is the 55th puzzle. It should be the hardest puzzle. But it is quite difficult. Alright, 92. No, because the bishop can save itself. However it goes, the bishop saves itself. Can I just go queen d3? queen d3. If the queen slides all the way back, rook over. I think it's queen d3 because nothing else makes sense. So it has to be something. I think that's it. I think that's it. Because you're guarding the knight, the queen has to go back to what? It'd have to go to b6. Rook would slide over attacking. Yeah, I think you can trap the queen. No, that's not it. What is the correct answer? I saw this. I don't know how. I just saw bishop back. How is this winning? Oh, now it's trapped. Oh my god. Yeah. I was like, they could just go here or take, and they can't do either of those things. Alright, well, we get that one incorrect. We end at, what do we get? 52. So today we got 55, 50, 55, 52. We're not able to get to the record. But 450s, I'm establishing a pretty good floor. I'll take that over hitting a new ceiling. Because last time we hit the record, I also had runs with 40. So it's averaging. And this might be a higher average, but I didn't get the personal best. But that'll be it for today's stream. Thank you all for tuning in on PJ's Chess on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And PJ's Chess 993 on Twitch. Free emails if you follow me on Twitch. So thank you all for watching. First, we'll sign off to those watching on TikTok. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll be on tomorrow for Rated Play, Rapid, and Blitz. Thank you for tuning in. And it was indeed lazy. Catch you guys. And then on Twitch, I'm going to raid if we have, I think, Falkbear, I see you. Is there someone that you like, that you want, another chess player you want to raid? If not, I can pick someone. Let me know. And then if you don't want to do it at all, not a problem. Let me just pull this up. I get raided, so I try and re-raid. Let's see. Survival, check out puzzle, chess puzzle, net puzzle, climb. How do I check that? Check out chess puzzle, net puzzle, climb. What is net puzzle, climb? Puzzle battle, only thing I know. Puzzle battle. But you're saying not puzzle battle. You're saying something else, I'm assuming. Okay, let's look here. Who can we raid? Let's see. Puzzle climbs like survival. Where is it at? Puzzle rush. How do I check it? Puzzles. I don't. Oh. Whoa. Oh, these are all my friends. Dang. This is crazy. 720,000. Wow. I'm guessing it's not this, right? Not this. I only have 479. I don't have that many, apparently. But yeah, let's raid who? I guess we can raid Faye here. Okay. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Let me do one thing here. Backslash here. Oops. Oh, that's in the wrong thing. I need to do it in my chat. Backslash, go here to me. Channel here. And then here we go. Okay. Faye, fire, heart. Alright, thank you all for tuning in. Let's see. Gonna ask if I could play. So, Deck, today, I appreciate you asking. I am ending stream right now. In 2 days, I'll have a viewer tournaments all day long and 2 streams. Now, next stream tomorrow will be Rapid. I guess not 2 days, because I won't stream till Sunday again after today. After tomorrow. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Tomorrow we'll have some Rated Play.